Prosecutors said they were concerned about the boy's mental health because he's susceptible to negative influence. Defence counsel for the teenager, who's believed to be on the autism spectrum, has said the boy's arrest has been a wake-up call for his family. The boy's been allowed supervised bail at home, but he's not allowed to use any electronic device capable of accessing the internet. He'll appear in court again next week.
A Port Lincoln dad caught with meth in Bali will have to serve a 6-month stint in rehab. 49-year-old Troy Smith has avoided jail time and a hefty fine. Polling booths in the UK are being flooded by residents casting their vote before the polls close shortly. Labor's Keir Starmer is expected to become the next Prime Minister, beating current leader Rishi Sunak and the Conservative Party. Brian Collins is an Australian expat living overseas and says there's no chance of the current PM keeping his job.
He should have moved out years ago. He hasn't got a snowflake's chance of remaining in power.
Senator Fatima Payman has not ruled out forming her own party after resigning from Labor. The 29-year-old made the decision after crossing the floor to vote for Palestinian statehood. Israel will send a negotiating team to take part in talks aimed at securing hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. Diplomatic efforts appear to be gathering pace, with Hamas said to be showing greater flexibility on a US-backed ceasefire deal. Hurricane Beryl has lashed the Cayman Islands after leaving a trail of destruction across the southeast Caribbean. The hurricane has also passed over Jamaica. The BBC's Nick Davis is in the capital, Kingston.
Throughout the city there is extensive damage. Trees have been felled by gusts of wind that howled for hours, and huge billboards have toppled over. The streets are covered in silt and small boulders which have come down from the mountains that surround this city. But it's the rural and more exposed parts of the country which took the full brunt of Hurricane Beryl, with devastating winds ripping off roofs, destroying homes and damaging critical infrastructure.
Aussies heading overseas are being told to know which travel insurance they have, especially when it comes to alcohol consumption. Data shows 1 in 8 Australians were not covered by any travel insurance on their most recent trip overseas, and many were unaware about their policy limits relating to drinking. With just 21 days to go, Olympic organisers have run into what you could call a wee problem. Carolee Katsambanis explains.
For the first time in Summer Olympics history, the opening ceremony on July 26 in Paris will not take place in a stadium. Now, the Australian Olympic Committee hopes to avoid a slight problem after Paris organisers told countries taking part that some of the 80 boats carrying athletes down the famous River Seine won't have a toilet on board. Instead, the Age is reporting athletes and officials will parade on boats down the Seine on a 6-kilometre route from Pont d'Austerlitz to Pont d'Iéna, which goes through the centre of Paris in front of an expected 320,000 spectators. More than 100 Australian representatives will take part.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Good morning, Jono Edwards.
Good morning to you, Kendall Breddick. 2 Australians have advanced to the 3rd round at Wimbledon. Jordan Tunbridge is there.
Another straight sets win for Alex de Minaur at Wimbledon. The world number 9 looking a step above his Spanish opponent, Jaume Muna. De Minaur to face Frenchman Lucas Pouy, who had a walkover win against an injured Thanasi Kokkinakis. Fellow Australian Alexei Popyrin made it through to the 3rd round here for the first time, upsetting 30th seed Thomas Martin Echeverry in 5 sets. There are no Aussies left in the women's draw after Darius Saville went down in 3. As for the big names, Novak Djokovic and Iga Swiatek both advanced.
Staying overseas, and the sprinters have yet again stole the show overnight at the Tour de France, as Dylan Groenewegen won his 6th career title as Tour de France stage. Locally, and Port Adelaide has named its teams for Saturday's game against the Western Bulldogs, making 2 changes. Jace Burgoyne will come back from a hamstring issue, while small forward Francis Evan has been selected after featuring in round 14 against GWS. Will Lorenz and Josh Sin will both come out of the side. Adelaide has named 4 players to its extended squad ahead of round 17 game against Brisbane on Sunday. The Crows will head to the Gabba to take on the Lions and have named defenders Brodie Smith, James Borlase, swingman Chase Jones and forward Chris Burgess. Coach Matthew Nicks saying the team is focused on building momentum.
We're playing a very good side this week, but there's no weeks that you don't. If you get it wrong, and you're going to lose games of footy. That's our challenge. We've got 8 weeks to go. We want to bring that momentum from last week and that belief in the way we play, and if we're good enough, we can take it up to Brisbane.
And tonight Collingwood take on Essendon at the MCG. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Cloud clearing in 17, sunny on Saturday, also 17, partly cloudy for Sunday 16, and a shower or two Monday 16, at the moment 12. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Are you eagerly awaiting a relocation sale to stock up on four-wheel drive and camping gear? Great news! TJM Clovelly Park have just opened their doors at their new address, 115 Sheriffs Road, Ranella. They're still clearing out heaps of ex-display stock and everything must go. Get in quick and give the crew at TJM Nailsworth a call to find out what's up for grabs at both locations during their relocation sale on now.
With Austrac Camper's electric awning and full zip-up annex, you'll have a weatherproof outdoor room set up just minutes after pulling up, so you can get on with other important tasks, like hydrating.
Austrac Campers!
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. My personal guarantee to you on value is this. I guarantee you that all National Tiles Super Saver ranges are the lowest prices in Australia. And if not, will beat any competitors in the nation by an unprecedented 25%. Yes, on all our National Tiles Super Saver ranges, I guarantee to beat any competitors in the nation by an unprecedented 25%. That's my personal guarantee to you on value. Conditions apply.
Mate, I'm caught in the storm.
Yeah, it's rough, hey?
Yeah, a tree branch hit my car and it's dented for sure.
Oh, don't worry. I've had that before. Just go see Dent Revolution.
Dent Revolution? Why them?
Because their paintless dent repairs keeps your paint original. They're RAA approved and can do your repairs on site. My car looks new again.
That sounds great.
Dents happen, but we've got you covered. Visit dentrevolution.com.au and send us your dent photos to get a quick quote today.
Hi, I'm Tim Angove from Supercraft Bedding. We're a small batch manufacturer of high quality mattresses. We decided to advertise on 5AA. Whilst discovering and chatting about our journey and our history, it was mentioned to us how cool it was that we'd made a mattress for the Queen. We never thought of exploiting it, but Creative really wanted to bring that to front of mind. It certainly brought us a lot of sales, but also a few giggles along the way. When people were commenting and quoting our ads, we knew that it was 5AA that were really assisting our sales. I highly recommend small businesses especially to get in with 5AA. They're very much South Australian, just like us.
To get your message out there and grow your business, visit 5AA.com.au and hit the Advertise With Us link for more information.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Tom Wren and Jade Robran.
Yeah, happy Friday wherever you are listening on 5AA Breakfast this morning. Great to be with you, coming up to 10 minutes past 6 o'clock on this Friday, the 5th of July. Jade, great to have you back in the studio again.
Good morning, Tommy. Good morning, everybody. It is. It's Friday, TGIF. Let's bring it home. Got a huge show today, but I actually wanted to ask everybody out there about the wind last night. I woke up at 1 a.m. in the morning, howling winds, and when I was walking to the car this morning, it felt like a forest in my driveway. Branches absolutely everywhere, leaves everywhere. Not a hell of a lot of information coming out right now from the bureaus, but is there anyone out there, 8223 0000 or on the Duttons text line, any damage? It was crazy howling winds.
Yeah, we've had a strange old week weather-wise, haven't we? And look, right now it's quite calm and quite warm. Yeah, you're right, 12 degrees. I think we were on Wednesday together. That was the day. All the days blur into one.
Yeah,
Don't they? Coldest
broke
one.
the records for the coldest morning. It was
0.6.
Yeah. Hey, great job with Mally yesterday. It's so nice to get these leaders in the studio and see a different side to them.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you had the commissioner on Tuesday and then Mally yesterday, but your interview with Bruce McAvaney, I could have sat there and listened to him talk for another 2 or 3 hours.
I know. I felt bad because Lucy, who does a great job keeping us under wraps, she sort of said, be out by 8:46, 8:40, you know, because you've got to be tight with the
course,
adverts
you
and
keep
fitting
moving.
everything in. Yeah, and then she said, I'll let it go to 8:50. I think it was about 8:54 that we wrapped up. It was like,
He's
you've
worth
got to
it.
go. But you've sometimes just got to throw the rule book out. I could have gone for another hour.
But hearing the behind-the-scenes build-up of, you know, Kathy Freeman's race and how he got nervous as well, because you see him, he's such a professional.
So professional.
Do you know where he... I won't say he's not a professional. It's just a quirkism, I guess, of him. I used to work with him on the Channel 7 races when I lived in Melbourne, and he was formal up the top, and this is so you, and then he'd wear board shorts underneath. So he'd have this beautiful suit, and he'd be at the races, and he'd look the part, and then he'd stand up and have board shorts on.
He's amazing, and that's where he started, of course, wasn't it? With his racing, he's so passionate about that. But no, he's I mean, you've worked with him, like clearly in
Such
Melbourne,
a
and
professional.
just the ultimate professional, and very humble as well.
Unbelievable. And like Melly said, he gets stopped everywhere he goes, and he takes time to talk to absolutely everybody. Hey, one story that's really caught my eye is this SA dad in Bali who has basically been let off scot-free. Been caught with pretty serious drugs,
This is Troy Smith?
methamphetamines.
Yeah.
I mean, as we've seen in the past in Bali, Chappelle Corby, 20 years. Unfortunately covered the Bali 9 story, the executions, and that's something that will stay with me forever. And then this gentleman here who gets caught and
He's got to go to a rehab centre.
He does for 6 months and doesn't have to pay the $750,000 fine, will never spend a day in jail. So whoever his legal team is, well done to you. But I was shocked when that breaking news was handed down last night.
It's a big story, and yeah, when it all sort of happened, I think we all probably went down that path of, oh, here we go, another Chappelle Corby type situation.
He's another idiot.
Yeah, and got to be over there stuck in jail for 20 years plus, whatever. But here it is. It is a total different turn of events, which is good for him and his family, but I think a bit surprising for all of us back here.
Another big one today, rental prices in South Australia. We spoke about this on Monday. New data came out about homeowners and how homes had gone up 14%, which is great if you own a home, not so great if you're wanting to get into the market. But another slap in the face for renters. Apparently they have gone up. Prices in Adelaide surging 11.8%. They're higher than 12 months ago. So that's roughly works out to be $3,640 that families or individuals out there are having to cough up each year. So it's getting tighter and tighter out there. 8223 0000 or the Duttons text line 0448 08 1395. What are you, as renters out there, what are you experiencing? Are you seeing your prices going up? It's so tough out there, Tom. It's really unfair. And frankly, I get sick and tired. You feel sad reading these stats out all the time because you just know that with increasing prices, at home, there's more arguments in the household. There's more strain on relationships. There's less food on the table. Families aren't going as far. Petrol prices. It's not fair.
Well, it's a vicious cycle, isn't it? You're right, because, financial stress is one of the major causes for, unhappiness and all of those issues. But then also, prices going up, as you said, close to 12%, feeds into inflation, and then interest rates, go up as a result. But the inflation's not because people are spending more, it's because they're being forced to pay more and their wages aren't going up. So you get this vicious cycle of, this repeat sort of set of circumstances. And it's really difficult for people to catch up and to, not just to keep their head above water and to get ahead. So, give us a buzz. 8223 0000 is the number. Otherwise, the Duttons text line 0448 08 1395. A big show, as you said. Jade, coming up, we'll talk some sport with Timmy G. A little bit later, we'll cross to the UK. The UK elections are happening at the moment, which is a big story. We'll also talk some Wimbledon. Josh Rachele is going to be in the studio a little bit later, so looking forward to talking some Crows. We had Dan Houston yesterday. It's Feedback Friday. We've got plenty of tickets to give away as well. So stay tuned. We are up and about here on 5AA Breakfast. Jade Robran and Tom Wren with you.
If you're a gardener, then you know the first place you want to be is in your garden. The second is a garden grove, sipping a really good coffee while you tuck into a scrumptious breakfast. Or sipping a glass of wine and chatting over the chef's special. 'Cause the thing about Garden Grove is, It's not just the garden centre that's amazing. So is the cafe.
Garden Grove, the garden that I want.
gardengrove.com.au. Golden Grove.
Go Vita, your local health food shops. Over 30 years health and wellness experience and over 300 natural health practitioners specialising in you.
Hi, I'm Wayne from Go Vita Mount Barker. We've got Fusion Astra 8 60 tablets, not $49.95, just $29.95. Fusion Astra 8 contains astragalus and reishi mushrooms. Always read the label and follow directions for use.
Go Vita, Colonnades, Fairview Green, Marion, Mount Barker, Manopara, Semaphore and Tanunda.
Well, it's something you'll hear a lot, sold by McGain again.
And because there's still limited homes available, it's really important to get along to these open inspections, Tom.
Yeah, it is, definitely. So tomorrow, Jade, from 11 until 11:30, Zoe Ball and Mike Dobbin, Mike's always there, and Zoe, they'll be opening a house at 25 Horseshoe Drive at Woodcroft. This beautiful renovated 3-bedroom family home is on a big block, features ensuite and modern kitchen, 2 separate living areas, formal dining, huge undercover entertaining area, lock-up carport, secure boat and caravan storage, and a fully insulated shed with light and power, $875 to $895K.
That sounds like a pretty good man shed to me. Also tomorrow from 1:30 to 2 o'clock, Sam Raven is opening 8B Gurney Street in Edwardstown. This is a really neat 3-bedroom courtyard home and it features open plan living room with timber French doors and solid timber floors, modern kitchen with dishwasher, electric roller shutters, ducted heating and cooling, paved private courtyard and a lock-up carport with a second parking space, and that's priced between $629 to $649.
So there's plenty of good houses to go and have a look at tomorrow, so make sure you do that. There's just a couple. But to take a look at these properties and all the McGain listings, just head to the website. It's mcgain.com.au.
It's time to go a little deeper with Phil Hoffman Travel and Outback Spirit. Discover a newfound connection with Australia on an all-inclusive small group adventure. Experience a welcome to country, an exhilarating helicopter ride, or journey to the tip of Australia. 2025 adventures now selling. Save up to $4,800 per person with 2025 early bird savings. Offer ends September 30. T's and C's apply. Find your Outback Spirit. Contact Phil Hoffman Travel. Visit pht.com.au.
Hey, you in the car. If your next service is due, just remember that Mawson Lakes Mazda has your back. We'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. Your car gets the love too, with our state-of-the-art service centre brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Tom Wren and Jade Robran.
Great to be with you. 19 minutes past 6 o'clock on this Friday, the 5th of July. We are interactive this morning. Love to get your feedback. Discover the unparalleled new Tourag at Dutton's VW Adelaide Hills. Dutton's, easy to do business with. 0448 08 1395 is the text line.
It is. We've got a couple coming through. I asked if it's wet, well, not wet, but windy in your neck of the woods because during the night last night, it got pretty crazy in my neck of the woods. But a text here from Jing says, "G'day, Jade and great man Rennie. Flat, motherless here at Port Victoria this morning. Not a breath of wind." That's beautiful neck of the woods in Port Victoria.
It is gorgeous.
Tessa, I love this one. "You are our Bruce McAvaney, Tom. One day, if not now, a young reporter will be super stoked to be interviewing you about your career highlights." Tessa,
Not so
I
sure.
agree, isn't he? He's your idol too, isn't he?
Oh, God, yeah. Who can't love Bruce?
Yeah.
He's just the ultimate, isn't he?
Yeah, but there are similarities. I agree, Tessa. Hey, do you know something funny that took my eye the other day? You know how the Euros are on, the soccer over in the States? So a bloke wanted, the Glastonbury Festival is also on.
Mm-hmm.
So he took a portable television to this music festival so that he didn't miss the England game.
No way.
So they're rocking along, moshing to some, I don't know what the band was. And this bloke's literally got this TV in the...
And then they won in the extra time.
Exactly,
the
like the
equaliser.
91 minute or something. And the crowd's gone absolutely nuts. But it made me think, What desperate measures have people gone to get to their favourite sporting event?
Yep.
What have you done? 822 300 00, because we've got some tickets to give away to the Beer and Barbecue Fest that's happening.
We do, yes, and they are happening from the 12th to the 14th of July, so we've got tickets for you and 3 friends to head along to the Adelaide Beer and Barbecue Fest on Sunday the 14th of July. So, keep those calls coming in and the text messages as well. One of the ones that always happens is when people plan a wedding on grand final day, or, and people are taking in rate.
You can't.
Although now you've got your phone, so you can sort of just check it on the app. And
Can you be friends with a couple that get married on grand final day?
It's hard.
The date doesn't change. It's not like Easter that, surprises us every year.
Mm-hmm.
That is the last weekend in September.
Yep.
You
So
can't get married on
just
that day.
check it out.
Well, for brides, you want the eyes to be all on you.
That's right.
I'm sorry, but they won't be.
And especially, you might not be into AFL, but there's a pretty good chance,
99.9%.
of your wedding guests are going to be. So, you have to kind of weigh it up.
Yeah.
Let's get into the headlines, the news headlines for today. Billions of dollars will be spent building 3 top-secret data centres under a deal between Australia's intelligence agencies and Amazon Web Services. The facilities will be designed to store the nation's most sensitive information. The federal government expects up to 2,000 jobs will be created under the agreement. Defence Minister Richard Marles says it'll make a major difference.
This capability, in terms of computing infrastructure, will ensure that Australia maintains at pace with the leading defence forces in the world. It will ensure that Australia maintains and indeed increases its interoperability with our alliance partner, the United States.
What about this story, Jade? Workers at Sherrin are threatening to go on strike over a new pay deal. Now, the Melbourne factory produces up to 250 balls a week. Workers are going to hand out flyers at tonight's game at the MCG.
That's not cricket.
Yeah.
You can't. That's not football. That's not cricket. 250 balls a week. I didn't realise. Okay. Sherrin factory. I
wasn't even aware.
I wasn't even aware that there was a Sherrin factory.
No,
These
me
balls
either.
just pop up and here they go. So they're not happy that they're not being paid enough. Well, okay.
They might. So when the ball gets kicked into row, F, they might have to say, actually, we really need that one back. I think they usually use a new ball every quarter. There has been a criticism that the balls aren't often kicked in enough. So maybe if there's a shortage on balls, they're going to have to use one for a whole game.
There you go.
Anyway, we'll keep an eye on that story. Australians heading overseas are being told to know which travel insurance they have, particularly when it comes to alcohol consumption. Data shows 1 in 8 Aussies were not covered by any travel insurance on their most recent trip overseas, and many were unaware about their policy limits relating to drinking. So that's a bit of a trap for young players. A Queensland man is attempting to break a new Guinness World Record. Graham Whittaker will be trying to run the fastest wearing a full-body inflatable dinosaur suit at the Gold Coast Marathon this weekend. He says the record to beat is 4 hours and 15 minutes.
A person that did the London Marathon recently, who did it in 3 hours and 20 minutes, he ran the entire thing with his head out, arms out and legs out. To actually qualify for the world record, you need to be fully enclosed in it with only your feet out the bottom.
Jade, I've only done one marathon in my life. It was the New York Marathon in 2016.
Have you?
And it took me 4 hours and 14 minutes. So someone with a full dinosaur suit has almost beaten me for the whole trip. That's how slow I was going.
I read a story yesterday about a guy in Idaho who is attempting to break the most amount of Guinness World Records. So he's got 150 that he's broken to his name.
Goodness me.
And he's going to keep going. But I'd love to hear of anyone out there that has broken a Guinness World Record, because to me it attempted to do it, yeah. 822 300 00, or flick us through a text on the Duttons text line. It feels like you can attempt to do anything and you get a Guinness. Well, I think the Today Show recently got mattresses, stacked them as dominoes and let them all fall, and they broke a Guinness World Record. So I feel like you can pretty much do anything.
Well, that's it, and it's knowing what records are there. So, I'll have a crack at that one. That looks doable. I'll just buy, 315 mattresures and, go and line them up. And
let's Google one in the ad break and see if there's something we can attempt.
Yeah, before the end of the show. I like it. And a tuna marketing push from Port Lincoln that's based around social media videos on TikTok has exploded sales into China. For one particular company, the Stare Group, sales have multiplied between 5 and 10 times in a fortnight, which subsequently has inked a deal to sell southern bluefin tuna worth at least $500,000 per month into China.
That's
the
huge.
Power of social media, isn't it?
Are you on TikTok?
No, but my boys often grab my phone, 5-year-old and 10-year-old, and they'll access TikTok on my phone.
It's unreal, isn't it? So when we went on a holiday over Christmas period, my boys downloaded TikTok on my phone and set up an account, and it's difficult. It's hard. It's got all these gadgets, but I mean, if you sit there and watch it even for 5 minutes, what you're exposed to over that period of time, marketers are unbelievable, and it's target marketing, and no wonder that you can see whether that's the future. But yeah, it's a beast out there.
It is a beast, isn't it? I wouldn't even know how to navigate it, but
it's tricky. But these young kids, they jump in, post a video, a minute later they've got 30,000, clicks, likes. It's it's a
brave new world, isn't it?
It is.
Jay, we're going to talk some sport now, and we will do that all thanks to Agostino Mitsubishi. Experience the 2024 New Gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi. We'll start with Wimbledon. Sad news, unfortunately, for Daria Saville, who did so well in the opening round. She won the first set overnight against Marta Kostyuk as well, who's from the Ukraine. And she can be a bit of a fiery character on court, Kostyuk. And Saville took that first set 6-4, but then was beaten in the next two sets 7-6, 6-4. So, unfortunately, she is out. And on the men's side, Thanasi Kokkinakis, such a brilliant win first up against Felix Auger-Aliassime. He's been forced to retire. We know he's had his injury problems in the past, but against the Frenchman Lucas Pouille, he was 2-1 down, won the first set, Kokkinakis 6-2, and then started to become hampered. In fact, it was a set apiece, but he was down 5-2 in the third set. And unfortunately forced to retire. So disappointing for poor old
He's shattered
Thanasi.
too. There's vision coming out just now, and he's really emotional on the sidelines. Was it a knee or an ankle that he did? Right foot slipped on the grass as he tried to recover back to the middle of the court, and then his left leg awkwardly crumbled underneath him. So the whole leg's given up.
That's disappointing.
That
much better news for Alexei Popyrin. He has beaten Thomas Martin Echeverry in 5 sets. He was 2-1 down, so that's a fabulous result there for him. Adam Walton, who I think it was his first Grand Slam win, definitely at Wimbledon, he went down in 5 sets, so that's disappointing to an Argentinian player, Francisco Comensana, so disappointing for him. Other big names that have gone through, Novak Djokovic won in 4 sets, so he has gone through, and some other players currently out on court and playing against
the Demon
and the
got
Demon
through.
won. Goodness, I almost forgot the Demon.
3 sets. I started watching that last night, but I think about 9:30 I had to head into bed. But he's a fave of mine. I really like that kid.
He's
he's
looking
not
good.
a kid anymore, is he? He's been around the traps for a long time, but he's our future.
No, you're right. He's still only about 24, I think, so he's got a big future ahead, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And, starting to really put it together. Yannick Sinner also through, winning in 4 sets. Bit of AFL as well, Jade. The teams, they have been released for the weekend. Just a squad for the Crows. We'll get back to them. Port Adelaide playing tomorrow. I'll be calling. You're going to be heading along as well.
Yeah, I'm going to take my boys. Beautiful afternoon, Saturday Arvo.
Should be
Adelaide
a beauty.
Oval.
Yeah, looking forward to it. 2 changes for the Power. Jace Burgoyne and Francis Evans come in. Josh Sin is injured. Will Lorenz has been dropped. Disappointing, no Willie Rioli. I think they really need him in that
definitely.
side. He's so dangerous.
He's coming back through the SNFL though, isn't he? They'll run him, get some match fitness.
Yep. And try and get him in that way.
Yeah. Big
Been there for
game
a while.
against Western
Huge.
Bulldogs, though, because they're running into some really good form.
Aren't they? They're playing well. And look, they've got a couple of big outs. Liam Jones, who's such an important defender for them. Cody Waitman also. He's that busy little bee. He's out. And Oscar Baker has been dropped. Squad only for Sunday. The Crows, Brodie Smith, Ball-Ace Jones and Burgess come into that squad. Hamill's been dropped. No Riley Thilthorpe, which is another week, I'm thinking, in the Sandful.
Yeah, I'm okay with this because he's going to need match fitness.
Okay.
You don't want him to go back into the AFL running it half empty and then the confidence lapses. When he comes back in, all guns firing, ready to go. So he stays in that team for the rest of the season.
One more week.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and then hopefully hits the ground running. I think we're all looking forward to seeing Riley Thilthorpe. We know how hard he works and what a talent he is as well. That's it for sport for now. We'll talk more with Timmy G after 7 o'clock, but it's time to head across to the newsroom.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Cloud clearing in 17 with the 6:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Injured or living with chronic pain? Book an appointment at Physio Extra today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
Bowling booths in the UK have now closed, with Labor's Sir Keir Starmer expected to become the next Prime Minister. Edward Godfrey's outside number 10 Downing Street.
We should get an indication fairly early on as to how things are going when those exit poll numbers come in. It is tipped to be a huge win for Labor's Sir Keir Starmer. He was out voting earlier with his wife Victoria in North London. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was also out voting with his wife Akshata Murty. That was in Richmond, near their home there. Things haven't looked good for the Prime Minister since he called that snap election when he stood out here in the rain on May 22nd. The polls were bad then. They were some 20 points behind, and they've only got worse. The most recent poll, a YouGov poll, is predicting a Labor landslide.
While the French Interior Ministry will deploy 30,000 police on the streets this weekend amid fears the results of parliamentary elections there could lead to violence, the far-right party National rallies in front ahead of the second round of voting. A man has died after a two-car crash in the Riverland. It happened yesterday afternoon at Glossop. The driver of one of the cars, an 84-year-old Cobdogla man, died. The driver of the other car and his 3 passengers weren't hurt. The man's death is the 46th life lost on our roads so far this year. The person responsible for a violent carjacking in Melbourne is still on the run. More from Christina Hearn.
At around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, a man captured on CCTV in a blue hoodie is seen casing a red four-wheel drive parked on Hardware Street. He then puts his scooter in the rear passenger seat before getting into the driver's seat and attempting to take off. The victim and a woman attempt to stop the car being stolen, with the victim standing in front of it. The thief continues to drive down the street and over a speed bump, despite the victim clinging onto the bonnet of the car. Victoria Police says the victim was taken to hospital with serious injuries. The thief is still on the run.
Researchers believe weight loss drugs could be putting patients at greater risk of going blind. A Harvard study shows those who've been prescribed Ozempic for diabetes are 4 times more likely to be diagnosed with an irreversible eye condition which causes blindness in one eye. People taking Wegovy are also more likely to develop the condition. Being more grateful about the positive things in life may help you live longer. More from Gail Watson.
International researchers have been investigating how gratitude can affect our overall health. The researchers gave questionnaires to nearly 50,000 older nurses in the United States to assess how often they felt grateful. Following up 3 years later, just over 4,600 of them had passed away. But the researchers say those who scored highly on the gratitude questionnaire were 9% less likely to have died compared to those who scored the lowest, after accounting for other factors, including physical and mental health. The team says they'd like to see similar research in a more diverse group, but note there are simple ways we can work on feeling grateful in our lives that may help us in the long run.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And I'm grateful Jono Edwards is here.
Good morning, Kendall Brettig. Champion tennis player Andy Murray has just been given a moving tribute at Wimbledon. Craig Gabriel was there.
He and his brother Jamie have just lost to the Australians Rinky Hijikata and John Pearce in a doubles on the centre court. And it was an amazingly emotional moment as the crowd just stood. They have not sat down since the end of the match. They played a video tribute and a lot of the greats have walked out on court. And he's embraced them all and he really started to cry when he was hugging his brother just a moment ago as he left the court. So, yeah, pretty amazing scenes over here, and he's still hugging. Novak and Andy just hugging one another inside the clubhouse now.
Overnight, Alex de Minaur and Alexei Popyrin both progressed into the next round. Meantime, Thanasi Kokkinakis retired in the third set of his second-round match with a knee injury. An exciting finish to the stage 6 of the Tour de France with Dylan Groenewegen claiming victory.
Jasper Philipsen goes, it's Arnaud Delis, Biniam Gamay, Philipsen right hand side, who's going to take it? Photograph, maybe a victory for Groenewegen. It's a photograph of Groenewegen and Philipsen as they threw their bikes at the line.
Jasper Philipsen, who crossed the line in second, was relegated from deviating from his line. To footy, and mid-season draftee Ned Long is set to make his debut for Collingwood tonight when they take on Essendon. Long joins Lockie Schultz and Charlie Dean as 3 inclusions, while Port has included Jace Burgoyne and Fraser Evans for Saturday's clash with the Bulldogs. Josh Sin is out with a quad injury and Will Lorenz has been left out. The Crows have named an extended squad for Sunday's game against Brisbane, including Brodie Smith. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Cloud clearing and 17. Sunny tomorrow, also 17. Partly cloudy for Sunday, 16. And a shower or two for Monday, 16. At the moment, 12. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Tom Wren and Jade Robran.
"23 minutes to 7 o'clock here on 5AA Breakfast. Jade Robber and Tom Wren with you through until 7 o'clock. Jade, it is that time. For our movie review, and movies are better at Wallace Cinemas, SA's home of big screen magic and entertainment. Visit wallace.com.au. Jade, I know you were listening in yesterday. Goodfellas was the movie that we chose for Lucy, or our listeners chose for Lucy to watch. So that was exciting, from 1990.
Yep, tapped into the 90s. I love the cast in this. So how good is it? Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and also Ray is it Liotta?
Yeah, Liotta.
Liotta.
He only passed away recently, I reckon.
He did. But he's got that crazy criminal face. He plays so well. Hey, Luce, what did you think? Oh, very deadpan face.
Oh,
then.
no.
Oh, okay.
Didn't like it.
I know, Tommy, you love this movie. Here we go. Look, I'm fascinated by the world of the mafia, right? And I quite liked The Godfather for that reason. I gave The Godfather 3 stars last year, so I was expecting sort of similar vibes. To me, though, the movie seemed pretty real. It was very extreme. The gangster
There's some
scenes that I was
confronting scenes.
watching. It was a lot to take in. Not like, I don't mind crime thrillers type thing. This was probably a step too far. Just with the closeness of some of the shootings that happened. I didn't hate it though. Like, I can see why people got a lot out of it. It was entertaining. The characters were excellent. The actors were excellent. My favourite was actually Robert De Niro as Jimmy. Joe Pesci's character Tommy, just a little bit too much for me. Every second word was the F word. And, you know, for 2.5 hours, that was sort of a lot to take in.
Yeah.
But that was my other point. It took way too long, 2.5 hours. The first hour and 15 minutes, I was like, when is it going to get good? And I think in this sort of with an hour to go, that sort of half-hour bit before when he's into the drugs, that was the most interesting bit, I thought.
I feel like you're a bit disturbed by watching this.
It's confronting.
Yeah, not disturbed, more confronted. I was like, if this is what it was actually like as a gangster mafia mob way back in the 70s when this was set, well, I'm glad I was nowhere near it. I'm giving it 2.5 stars.
No, fair enough. It is one of those movies as well. It is, you know, there's some hardcore scenes in there. There's that gratuitous violence, and it's intense. And then there was another movie with Pesci and also De Niro. They made it 3 or 4 years later, and we talked about it a bit yesterday, Casino, and that was another level again. It was peak for both of those guys.
Right, I don't think I'll be there for watching Casino. Someone texted us yesterday and said, oh, why do we give Lucy another action movie she won't watch or like? Well, I'm happy to watch them. It's my goal. I watch them all, whether or not I like them. Let's just hope next week's a slightly happier one.
These are making a huge comeback, though, the crime movies and the gangster movies. They're on high rotation in my household. My husband absolutely loves them.
Well, your husband, as a male in his 40s, like you are, Tommy, as well, and Will is, Will's birthday today, actually. Happy birthday, Will Goodings.
Nice. Happy birthday in Bali.
But I can absolutely see why that age bracket loves it. Like, watching it, I was like, of course Rennie loves this, because this is his sort of type of entertainment.
Bada bing, bada boo.
Yeah, it's there are some great movies. It's not my all-time favourite action movie, probably Heat with Val Kilmer, Robert De Niro again, Al Pacino, but it's a good see. It's a good watch. It's, you know, that sort of entertainment. You don't have to think too much.
The only real bit of thinking I did was trying to keep up with all the names of the gang members.
Yeah.
All of these mobsters that just kept appearing. I was like, who's this? Who's this? And then when they all met their untimely fates at some point in the film, I was like, I've never seen that guy before.
Yeah.
I didn't know who all these gangsters were.
And I think you took the right message out of it. Why would you get into, the mob?
Yeah. So the bit of audio I've chosen is when the guy who effectively just joined when he was a kid, this is when he decided his gangster life was over.
And now it's all over. And that's the hardest part. And today everything is different. There's no action. I have to wait around like everyone else. Can't even get decent food. Right after I got here, I ordered some spaghetti with marinara sauce and I got egg noodles and ketchup. I'm an average nobody. Get to live the rest of my life like a schnook.
Ray Liotta there as Henry Hill. So Ray Liotta died in May 2022 at the age of 67 from a health-related issue.
Yeah, he was in some great movies. He was, I reckon he was in the prequel to Silence of the Lambs with, it was supposed to be Jodie Foster, but he was in a lot of great movies, but very sad that he passed away so soon.
Silence of the Lambs, certainly not one I will be watching.
I've never watched that one.
That is, I think it's the first movie that won Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Picture, and Best Director in the same year. Correct me if I'm wrong, 1991, I reckon. That is one of the all-time greats.
Is it? See, no, I couldn't sit through that. There's a message that's come through here, Luce. The audience wants you to watch Beverly Hills Cop, the original, and then there's a new one that's just dropped on Netflix this week. Same actors, 40 years apart. Apparently, so Ben told me yesterday that this one was excellent as well.
The new one?
The new one is really, really good.
Right, so I've got to do a Year 12 English style comparative essay on the old one
old
and the new one.
and the new one.
Beverly Hills Cop,
Exactly right.
that's just a bit of fun. Like, that's Eddie Murphy when he's just funny,
Apparently he looks great. Ben said he looks literally like he did all those years ago. Whoever his surgeon is has done a very good job because all the other actors have had a botched job.
Well,
they don't look any good at
Eddie
all.
Murphy doesn't age.
No, he doesn't.
Eddie
That's
Murphy,
good.
Paul Rudd, actors that don't
Yeah.
age, they're my top two. Eddie Murphy, you could run into in the street, you know
Brad
exactly
Pitt.
who he is. God, Brad Pitt
Actually,
definitely had
aged a
work
little
done.
bit, but
Yeah.
still looks good.
Paul Rudd, though, you're right. I first saw him in Clueless. I reckon he looks younger now, 30 years later, than he did then.
Absolutely. I love Paul Rudd.
He looks great.
Any films with Paul Rudd in it. But you know what? Robert De Niro was my pick out of this one. He was great.
He's fantastic.
So
He's
you-
just got screen presence, doesn't he?
Bit of a pass on the brutal world of Mafia then, Luce?
Yeah, not watching it again. It took way too long. 2 hours and 26 minutes.
Are you a fan of The Sopranos?
Haven't seen it.
No, you know what? I watch a lot of shows. I haven't seen that either, and I feel bad for saying that, but I'm sure a lot of our listeners will have.
Tommy, you don't have time to sit down and watch things these days.
Well,
Yeah.
this is true, which is a good segue into our text line here, because, Tommy, there is a lot of messages coming through here. Thanks so much, Luce. I think Tom is the Guinness Book of Records for the amount of time he's worked this year. 5AA Brekkie, Channel 9 News, Hello SA, footy commentary, tennis commentary, emceeing black tie events. You do an amazing job, Tom. That's from Dion. You do. How do you fit it all in?
Thanks for down. That might be my dad, maybe. You know what it's like, Jade. You do a lot.
Not as much as you. No
it's
way.
just juggling. I've got a lot of support at home as well, so that helps.
We've got another one here on the Duttons text line. Morning, Jade and Tom. Jade, can you throw in a couple of wowzers throughout the show, pretty please? Always makes my day hearing that. That's from Brent. Do I say wowzers a lot?
I don't.
Is that directed at me? You know how people, when you're on the radio, some people
Well, maybe they've
will
heard you
say
say-
words quite a lot?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe I do.
Maybe you've said it once or twice, but I haven't noticed it today or any other day, to be honest.
Wowzers. We'll have to
I'm sure there's a
across
word.
that.
Once you hear it, you can't unhear it with someone. But
That's
I'm sure
right.
there's something I say all the time that probably
All right,
irritates
let's try
you.
and pick it up.
Yeah, okay, and then I'll try and get rid of it for you.
And then we spoke about the Sharon Factory.
Mhm.
A couple of messages of people that have actually gone to the Sharon Factory. You can do a tour. Didn't know about that. And that it's really informative and they take you through and it's, people have taken quite a lot out of it. Then we were talking about weddings and who would get married on grand final day.
Yes.
Well, a lot of people do.
Mhm.
A couple of text messages coming through on that. I got told off for having the radio on grand final day 2016 when Footscray beat Sydney when he was at a wedding. Joe, you got to have it on silent. Like, if you're going to do it, at least do it stealth.
But, I mean, I feel sorry for that Footscray supporter because that was a history-making day. I was there that day, actually. Great win for the doggies. But, yeah, keep those text messages coming. That's just not cricket, like you said, is
so
it? Not
I
footy.
was at that grand final as well.
Mhm.
3 doors down from me, a bloke had a heart attack. It was 15 minutes to go.
No
or was
way.
it 7 minutes? You know when the game changed in that
Yes.
fourth quarter?
Yep.
Sydney looked like they were winning.
Tom Boyd kicked that goal.
Yes, and
Yep.
then ignited them. I've looked to the left and I've gone, oh my God, there was this guy slunched over in his seat. Thankfully, this is all very serendipitous. The guy next to me was a nurse. They've grabbed this guy, threw him on the ground, resuscitated him, and then got the defibrillator and then brought this guy back to life. Anyway, we didn't know any of this. We all had to be evacuated and moved out of our seats. And anyway, so would have been about 3 days later. We've left. Ben and I left after that because we're like, oh, this is a Debbie Down. And my God, I can't believe this has just happened. This poor bloke. We thought he'd passed. Anyway, 3 days later, pops up, front page of the Herald Sun, sitting up fair and square in the hospital bed. He survived. Yep, doggy supporter. And it just got too much for him that the ticker gave up.
He gave up. Well, he woke up and they'd won the flag and happy ending.
Yep.
Well, that's a good result.
Apparently, that happens quite regularly. People have minor heart attacks at grand finals because they get so invested.
Yeah, well, people do, as you know. Amazing.
know.
You can check us out this morning on the Foodland Supermarket Facebook and YouTube live stream. You can also keep those text messages coming. We'd love for you to do that. Right now, though, we'll check out the traffic. And we'll do that all thanks to the Louvre House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Tom, and morning, Jade. At Jeps Cross, car and a truck smash on Grand Junction Road at Prospect Road. Lots of debris there, so take it easy if you're heading through that neck of the woods. Kensington Gardens, Burgess Watermain, McGill Road near Glenburn Road, speeds at 40, a little bit sluggish, and getting busy at Glandore South Road near the Crossroad overpass. Road plates in use there, speeds at 40. Camera look out for right now, Northeast Road at St Agnes. Use your existing BMW service inclusive package now at Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's independent family-owned BMW dealership. Experience excellence at Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years we, the Lynn Andrews team, have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easier for investors and tenants. Everyone is treated with empathy and respect. It's the way we do business. It's the Lynn Andrews way. For residential and commercial property management, we're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Don't you hate it when everything you liked about a display model cost extra? The gang at Austrac Campers hate it too, which is why when you buy an Austrac camper, everything listed is included in the price.
Austrac Campers!
Life's a journey. Sure, as you get older you might slow down a little, but each step can bring you more of what you want. At ECH, we support you wherever you are and wherever you want to go. Whether you want more opportunities to make friends, more assistance around your home, help with your health, or the perfect home to downsize to. Get more out of life. Ask ECH about home care packages and retirement living today.
Every 2 years, if you're aged 50 to 74, you'll get a blue and white package from the National Bowel Cancer Screening Program. It's your free bowel screening test kit, and it could save your life. Here's what to do. Take it to the bathroom and put it right where you can see it. Not in a drawer, but on the bench top or on the toilet seat or in the middle of the floor. So the next time you have to go, you'll remember to use it. Please don't put off the chance to save your life. Get to it. Visit bowelcancer.org.au for more information.
Catching up with family and friends at home is always a special time. Make life easy with a welcome hand from your local Barnacle Bill. Win a Barnacle Bill treasure chest every week for a year. Enter the Barnacle Bill promotion today for your chance to win in the Barnacle Bill treasure chest giveaway. Fill out an entry form online for your chance to win a treasure chest every week for a year. It's Barnacle Bill for seafood and much, much more.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Tom Wren and Jade Robran.
10 minutes to 7 o'clock on this Friday, the 5th of July. Let's get straight to the Weather Bureau. Jenny Horvat has joined us on the line this morning. Jenny, good morning to you. Jade and I have been talking a bit about the weather overnight and the winds. Has it been gusting up a fair bit overnight?
Yeah, look, it has been a little bit gusty. Unfortunately, we don't have a good sort of network of observation sites near the foothills, but we did see some gusts up to getting up to around 63 kilometres per hour around Selix and Mount Crawford overnight. So what we've got that high pressure system to the south. We've got that easterly flow. The inversion was a bit lower, and we had a bit of a gush of that wind coming down. Not quite the proper gully wind setup, but not dissimilar to that. So again, we can probably be expecting to see it a little bit gusty as we head into this evening and again tomorrow morning. But we are in for a dry day today. Not quite as cold this morning. Minimum temperature was actually last night 8.8 at about 8:30. Currently it is 10.6 at the West Terrace Night Appear observation site. We are aiming for a top temperature of 17 degrees in the city. Likewise for Elizabeth and Glenelg. Noarlunga looking at around 16 degrees. Mount Barker 14. We're in for a sunny Saturday, 17 degrees after a minimum temperature of 9. Sunday's a little bit tricky with weather. We see a little bit of precipitation, a bit of a cloud band moving to the north of us. Whether we see a little bit of that coming down, we'll just have to see on the day. Better chance to see a shower or two on Monday with the passage of the front. Temperatures back down to around 16 degrees.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Jenny. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
We'll head across now to South Australian Police. Senior Constable Pete Williams is on the line. Pete, good morning to you. Unfortunately, a fatal crash in Glossop.
Yeah, we reported yesterday a serious crash at about 4:15 yesterday, where emergency services were called to an intersection of Scott Road and Jury Road up at Glossop in the Riverland after reports of a two-car collision. A Ford Falcon sedan that had been travelling southwest on Scott Road and a Subaru Outback that was travelling southeast on Jury Road had collided at the intersection. Sadly, we can report this morning that the driver of the Falcon, an 84-year-old man from Cobdogla, died at the scene, and the passenger in the Ford, an 82-year-old woman, also from Cobdogla, was taken to hospital with minor injuries. The occupants of the other vehicle, the Subaru, a 21-year-old man, 24-year-old man, 25-year-old man and a 27-year-old man, all from Loxton North, were uninjured, and the man's death is the 46th life lost on SA roads this year.
Oh, that's so tragic. Peter, also someone gambling with their life, a motorcyclist caught at extreme speeds at Salisbury.
Yeah, this person clearly was in a state wanting to be making themselves the 47th life lost on the road the way they were going round. At about 3 o'clock yesterday, patrols observed a red and black Suzuki motorcycle overtake them on Salisbury Highway at high speed. The patrol contacted the communications centre, who advised that Polair were overhead at the time, and they managed to track and monitor the bike as they headed through back streets of Parafield Gardens, Salisbury North and Salisbury at speeds of up to 160 kilometres an hour in a 60 zone. The motorcycle was tracked to a unit block on Salisbury Highway, and patrols moved in where cordons were established, and bike and clothes belonging to the rider were located in the rear yard of one of the units. The rider, a 29-year-old Salisbury man, was inside the units. He was arrested just before 4 p.m. Checks on the motorcycle identified that the registration plates on it weren't actually the correct ones, and the correct rego was identified as a stolen motorbike from Windvale in 2023. Further checks on the man identified that he actually isn't allowed to have a licence either. He's disqualified for a few years from holding one, and that appeared to not stop him, but we've stopped him. He's in the cells. He'll be there overnight. He's going to court today, charged with aggravated extreme speed, drive disqualified, unlawful possession, and drive with unassigned plates and illegal use.
Oh, my God, what an absolute idiot. Peter, thank you so much. Good news to hear that he's actually locked up and hopefully remains that way for a little while. And that's just a miracle that he didn't injure anyone else.
That's exactly right. People, treat these things like toys, don't they? And it's not themselves that they put at risk that's the concern. It's everyone else.
Oh, if he wrapped himself around a pole, no sympathy whatsoever. But if he knocks over a family, a kid, crashes into another car, causes, injury or death, nah, sorry, mate. Take the keys, lock him away.
Yeah, exactly right. It's frustrating, isn't it, as a fellow motorist and all the people listening out there as well. Let's talk about something now that we saw last night. It was a story that happened on 9 News, and it's all about people wanting to reduce the amount of alcohol consumption they have. We know Dry July is on at the moment, Jade. So we thought we'd get Simon Strawn, who is the Drinkwire's CEO, on the line to join us this morning. Simon, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Jade.
Good morning.
Tell us, we've got some stats of a report that is being released from you guys. People seem like they're really genuine and keen to reduce the amount of alcohol consumption they take.
That's right. This brand new DrinkWise research is really encouraging because it showcases the fact that people are making more responsible and safer choices around consumption. We've seen from our research that just over half of Australian adults who are drinking want to cut back. But that, interestingly, that number rises to 65% for 18 to 24-year-olds. So this next generation that's coming through is really mindful about their consumption.
Simon, why is that? Why are we making this choice to cut back?
We certainly do know from the research that over the last 20 years in Australia, there's so many underage teenagers that are simply saying no to alcohol, which is a good thing, reflective of the parental role modelling that we've seen and parents setting strong boundaries around their kids not drinking underage. That means when the kids do reach legal drinking age, they're more likely to have more responsible choices around alcohol, which has seen them drink less. But also what we're seeing is that they are much more mindful as a generation in terms of their physical and mental health, and we're seeing that start to play through in some of the statistics we're seeing here.
What about social media? I know we talk about it in a negative sense a lot of the time, but in a positive sense, there is so many videos and I guess influencers out there being fit and healthy and promoting a healthy lifestyle and what that can do for you. Does that play a part in the younger generation choosing to say no to alcohol?
Certainly in terms of the research that we've done, we've seen a strong prevalence for those that have created this image of themselves online and aspire to what they want to be. They don't want to actually ruin that by being caught out in compromising situations after drinking to excess. So it has been a driver. There's a lot of things that aren't positive about social media, but this is one where it seems to be having an influence in terms of people making more responsible choices in terms of alcohol.
And I guess the other thing too is there are alternatives for people out there if they want to still have a beer or the feeling of having a beer. You can have products like zero alcohol and others. There are alternatives and choices for those that want to perhaps wean down on the amount of alcohol they take.
That's exactly right, and it's been one of the things that's been certainly borne out in terms of this new DrinkWise research is the fact that those that have cut back, 42% attributed that to drinking zero and lower strength alcohol products, which is a significant rise from the 32% that when we researched during the pandemic. But interestingly as well, what we've seen is that younger generation, again, 18 to 24-year-olds and also 25 to 34-year-olds are more likely to try these zero alcohol products as a means to help them cut back on their consumption.
It's fascinating research. Simon, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you for having me on.
Great stuff. Simon Strawn there, the DrinkWise CEO, and I think it's probably a good thing, isn't it, if more people are at least considering or trying to cut back the amount of alcohol they take in.
Yeah, of course, but the question's got to be asked when we're talking about our youth, and a few messages have come through on the Duddon's text line, but is the question that they're not drinking alcohol but turning to drugs?
Other substances. Yeah, exactly. No, it's a good point. 6:59 on 5AA Breakfast. Got to head across to the newsroom shortly. A big hour coming up after 7 o'clock as well. We'll head over to the UK. The election is on. The polls have just closed in the last half an hour or so, so be intriguing to see what happens there. It looks like it might be a landslide, at least that's what has been predicted. Plenty of sport as well. We'll also talk some federal politics as well. A lot more coming up on 5AA Brekkie.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop Real Estate. 2 years ago, had anyone suggested that South Australia's property prices would be on par with Melbourne's, it might have been met with some scepticism. However, the unexpected has happened. Adelaide's property market is in full bloom, with the median house price surpassing the $900,000 mark for the first time in history. A true testament to the strength of our local property market. And no, these aren't just occasional spikes. It's solid, continued growth, reflecting a strong local property market with no signs of a slowdown. If you're contemplating selling in this profitable market, contact the experienced team at Toop and Toop. We have nearly 40 years of history backed with a strong track record of achieving exceptional sale prices. Visit toop.com.au to find out more.
Respiratory syncytial virus, known as RSV, is a contagious virus and the cause of respiratory disease among the elderly. Vaccines to fight the disease have been approved overseas, but Adelaide's Fusion Clinical Research is holding a trial to find a remedy for Australia. If you're over 60 and want to take part, contact Fusion on 7077 6996 or go to fusiontrials.com.au. You will be reimbursed for your time.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube.
Local news and information first. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Cloud clearing in 17. With the 7 o'clock news, I'm Kendall Brettig.
Keep in shape with physio-instructed clinical Pilates and gym classes at 6 locations. physioextra.com.
The final votes have been cast in the UK's general election, with polling booths now closed. Exit polls are showing a Labor landslide in what could be the party's biggest win in roughly 200 years. The election was called 6 weeks ago by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. An elderly man has died after a crash at Glossop in the Riverland yesterday. Senior Constable Peter Williams says 2 cars collided at the intersection of Scott Road and Jury Road.
The driver of the Falcon, an 84-year-old man from Cobb Dogler, died at the scene, and the passenger in the Ford, an 82-year-old woman, was taken to hospital with minor injuries. The occupants of the other vehicle, the Subaru, a 21-year-old man, 24-year-old man, 25-year-old man and a 27-year-old man, all from Loxton North, were uninjured, and the man's death is the 46th life lost on SA roads this year.
A 13-year-old boy from the southern suburbs will appear in the Adelaide Youth Court next week, charged with possessing extremist material. Yesterday he appeared via video link and was granted bail, but told he's forbidden to access the internet. A Port Lincoln dad who was caught with methamphetamines in Bali has avoided jail. Troy Smith also dodged a hefty fine. The 49-year-old has been ordered to serve a 6-month stint in an Indonesian rehab facility instead. The Hamilton Island honeymoon buggy death case returns to a North Queensland court today. Siobhan Fay reports.
Yesterday, the court was showing police body cam footage from the hours following the fatal golf buggy crash. The man on trial, Robbie Awad, told officers that the battery was running low on the vehicle, so he chose to chuck a Yui. He claims he then picked up speed, throwing his new wife, Marina Hanna, out. The Sydney couple had only been married 10 days and were on their honeymoon in Hamilton Island when the incident took place. Mr Awad has pleaded guilty to driving while using a mobile phone and failing to ensure he and his wife were wearing seatbelts. However, he has pleaded not guilty to dangerous driving causing death. The trial continues in Proserpine today.
Hurricane Beryl has lashed the Cayman Islands after leaving a trail of destruction across the southeast Caribbean. At least 9 people have died. Australians are being warned to have the right travel insurance before heading overseas. Chandra Llewellyn reports.
Research shows 1 in 8 Australians were not covered by any travel insurance on their most recent trip overseas. The policies provide protection against accidents, damage or loss, but an exclusion may apply when a person is under the influence of alcohol when an accident occurs. The data reveals many were unaware about their policy limits relating to drinking. Of the 87% of Aussies who took out travel insurance, 69% say they drank alcohol. Younger people also had a higher average of travelling uninsured.
And workers at Sharon are threatening to go on strike over a new pay deal. The Victorian factory produces up to 250 footies a week. Workers are going to hand out flyers at tonight's game at the MCG. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Jono Edwards.
Thank you, Kendall. Alex de Minaur has stormed into the Wimbledon third round with another straight sets win. Jordan Tunbridge was courtside.
For the second Grand Slam in a row, Alex de Minaur has defeated Spaniard Jaume Muna in straight sets. The Australian world number 9 dominated the first 2 sets 6-2, 6-2, but was broken 3 times in the third before closing it out 7-5 with help from the crowd.
There are a few Aussies there in the crowd and they're definitely a bit more rowdy than the usual Wimbledon crowd, but they added to the atmosphere and they made it really fun.
De Minaur is joined in the Wimbledon third round by fellow Aussie Alexei Poprin, who upset 30th seed Tomas Martin Echeverry in 5 sets. Thanasi Kokkinakis retired hurt from his match against Lucas Pouille. Adam Walton and Darius Saville were also eliminated. And 7-time champion Novak Djokovic looked sore at times as he beat a British wildcard in 4 sets.
To basketball, and the Boomers have made a statement in their last game on home soil before the Olympics, smashing China 91-58. Jock Landau was the standout, notching up 19 points and 9 rebounds. He's told Fox Sports every member of the squad has checked their ego at the door.
It's kind of the piece that we've built our whole culture on. Are we friends, to the highest degree, and are we leaving, our professional lives at the door, our selfish thoughts at the door? And I think that we do a phenomenal job, top to bottom.
To footy, and Port Adelaide has named its team for Saturday's game against the Western Bulldogs, making 2 changes. Jace Burgoyne will come back from a hamstring injury, while small forward Francis Evans has been selected. Will Lorenz and Josh Sin will both come out of the side. Adelaide has added 4 players to its extended squad ahead of their clash against Brisbane on Sunday, with Brodie Smith, James Borlase, Chase Jones and Chris Burgess all named. Riley Filthorpe will play his second sample game for the season as he continues his return from a long-term knee injury. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there at Jebbs Cross. Car and truck smash on Grand Junction Road at Prospect Road. Lots of debris, so take it easy through there. Kensington Gardens, Burst Watermain, McGill Road near Glenburn Road. Speeds at 40. Slow for works at Hallett Cove. Lonsdale Road near Majors Road. And we're busy at Glandore South Road near the Crossroad overpass for works. Cameras Balmoral Road, Dernan Court and Grand Junction Road at Gillis Plains. It's happy days every Friday at IKEA. Head in store to get 50% off main dishes for IKEA family members. 11am till close every Friday at IKEA. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Cloud clearing and 17, sunny tomorrow, also 17, partly cloudy for Sunday, 16, and a shower or two Monday, 16. At the moment, 10. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Drums, please. Unprecedented, unparalleled, unrivaled. For the very first time, Edwardstown Mazda is offering discounts greater than 10% on all Mazda demonstrator models. Every demo, every model with a minimum discount of 10%. Plus a minimum trade-in of $2,000 on your old vehicle. This offer is exclusive to Edwardstown Mazda.
It's gotta be
Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA.
The Excelsior Hotel takes on the big freeze for MND. Sunday 7th of July, 12 till 4pm. Tickets are $15 and include a complimentary drink and sausage sizzle. Dunk local legends. Groove to tunes provided by DJ Tommy Tequila, or bid in the silent auction for a chance to win a 2024 Cox Cup full food and beverage package for 10 people. Check our socials for event and ticket details for the big freeze. July 7 at the Excelsior Hotel. You just know it's a Bro Hotel.
The critical part of any healthcare is the care. It's about being by your side when you and your loved ones need us most. Through late night fevers, through the rough and tumble of weekend sports, through weird rashes, mystery aches, and knowing in your heart that something's not quite right. From surgery to rehabilitation, through emergencies, mental illness, chronic diseases, and for better health. Your doctor cares. Let's take care of them too. Authorised by Dr. David Pope, Sasmoa, Adelaide.
The news and issues that matter to South Australia. Always Adelaide. This is 5AA.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Tom Wren and Jade Robert.
And it is right on 9 minutes past 7 o'clock this morning on 5AA Breakfast. Jade, Robin and Tom Wren with you through until 9 o'clock. We've got a big hour coming up and plenty of text messages out the place as well. 0448 08 1395.
Yes, we were talking about people getting married on Grand Final Day. 82230000. Call in and let us know if you've ever had to go to a wedding on Grand Final Day. How did you survive? Oh, and the text line 0448 08 1395. My mum's auntie at her son's wedding was listening to a preliminary final, not a grand final, preliminary final, because the Crows and, they were in it, and she was most upset that her son was getting married on a football game day.
Oh, that's tough.
Sacrilegious, I think, if you're a footy family.
Yeah.
You can't get married on any finals. Just don't get married in September.
I was going to say September's tricky, isn't it? Like, it makes it really dicey. I mean, some years you're probably okay, but, you know, if your team's in there or the majority of the guests have got their team in there, in SA, Port of the Crows, then, yeah, you're going to be flirting with a bit of danger there. One of the things that is happening over in the UK at the moment, Jade, of course, is
huge day.
the election. And Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer have been going head-to-head now. There is talk that this could be a landslide. This was Rishi Sunak, a final plea before voters went to the polls.
A vote tomorrow is a vote for the Conservatives to cut your taxes. That's what we believe, and that's what we'll deliver. For everyone who works hard, we want them to keep more of your hard-earned money. That's why we'll cut taxes on national insurance. For those entrepreneurs and risk takers, we'll abolish national insurance for the self-employed to create a culture of enterprise. For young couples wanting to buy their first home, we'll abolish stamp duty so that everyone can fulfil those aspirations of home ownership.
So that was him pleading with voters to go out and support him, facing a potential landslide result, some saying it could be their worst result for his party since 1832. For more on this story, we're joined by Channel 7 UK correspondent Ashley Milani. Ash, thanks so much for coming on the show this morning.
Good morning, guys.
Tell us, the polls have only closed in the last 40 minutes or so. When does the counting start, and are there any early predictions of how it's gone so far for the day?
So counting is still underway now as we speak, but we have just had the exit poll come out, which is the lead indicator, really, of which way this is going to go. It's usually a very accurate poll, and that has shown that the predictions have been right, that this will be a landslide for Labor. We're looking at 170 seat majority for Labor, so that could be on par with Tony Blair's big win back in 1997. Either way, this is a historic seismic shift for British politics. The Tories have been in power for 14 years now. They've had 5 prime ministers in that time. So it's the end of a big chapter for them and the start of a new one for Labor.
Where did it go so wrong for Ricky?
That's a really good question. I think there'll be a fair bit of reflection happening within the Tory party. Perhaps not now. There might just be a bit of scotch going around the tables, but there'll have to be some reflections. And beyond that, I think it may be, even tear it down and rebuild the party altogether, because they've gone from having that huge win with Boris in 2019 to now losing all of these seats. I mean, there's going to be over 200 MPs that lose their jobs, lose their seats. So it really was an existential moment for the Tories, and according to these polls, a complete wipeout, really. So game over for Rishi. He will now be on the pub quiz night form when people are asked for the the 5th Tory Prime Minister. But no, it looks like it's done for him. But there was just a real appetite for change, I think, in Britain, and some of those issues, key issues, immigration, which the Tories were promising to bring down the numbers of immigration, the huge wait list for the NHS, the National Health Service here. So these are some of the key issues. And then, of course, the pretty sluggish economy off the back of Brexit too. So I think people wanting to turn a leaf after that.
Not a good time to be a Prime Minister anywhere in the world, I don't think. Ash, you've come from covering politics in the US, now over to the UK. Just how different are the two? Because in both countries, it's not compulsory to vote. What's the vibe like in the UK? Are many people coming out to vote?
It's a great question. Yeah, it's not compulsory to vote. I think we'll have to wait and see what the voter turnout numbers were like. But it's very British. It's very keep calm, carry on. I was, the people are still out and about at Wimbledon today and just going about their regular day. But I think people are fatigued, to be honest. I thought we were a basket case in Australia sometimes with our turnover of prime ministers, but to have 5 in that period of time, you think back to Liz Truss and her 50 days in office, and the chaos with Boris, and then Rishi being in office. It's been just a bit nauseating for people. I think they just want some stability. They want to get on with things. But I must say, one big difference that I've noticed here compared to America is that the parties just aren't quite as polarised. The difference between the left and the right isn't as stark as what it is in America in terms of policy issues. Like, the Tories are actually quite, both parties are quite centre, and even the Labor Party, it's not hard left, they are centre left. Same with the right, same with the Tories. So you just don't have quite as much division, polarisation. In America, I think it is just so stark. The other big thing is that a lot of the issues, because there's no state elections here, it's a general election, you get all these really smaller issues that get rolled up into the general election. So 1 minute you're talking about policies on Ukraine and the war in Gaza and things, and then you're talking about building a new library in Clacton, promises to build a new library in Clacton, so it's kind of jarring. But it's still fascinating to be here on the ground and a big moment in British politics. So
it's massive, isn't it? Yeah, and of course we've got the US election in just a few months' time, and I'm sure you'll be keeping a close eye there. And Ash, the other question is Keir Starmer, who is going to come into this huge majority. What has the bedrock been? What has been the policy or the ideas that he's put forward that have really put him at the forefront of everyone coming in this majority, or has it just been don't say too much, let the other guy sink his own ship?
You are spot on with that. In fact, you probably, you could probably go in and be a political advisor. That is exactly the approach they've taken. Is just they can just sit back and let the other team completely implode. Yeah. Keir didn't really need to land any big blows on Rishi Sunak. The party was just imploding on its own. And I think they took the approach of less is more. Even their campaign events, to be honest, a lot of it was quite boring. You looked at some of these events that they were having, and that's why Nigel Farage was so exciting when he entered the race, because it was okay, at least this guy's going to speak his mind, and he might come out with a few curveballs, and he's wildly entertaining. But Rishi and Keir Starmer, they were both pretty dull, I have to be honest. But I think that was Keir Starmer's approach. He wanted to offer this vision of being the steady ship, steadying the economy, and that's what he's promised voters. But he didn't have to do too much, I think.
Ash, thanks so much. Just quickly before we let you go, with it being Labor expecting to romp to victory, how quickly will the results be known?
Oh, tomorrow morning. So by the time you guys are watching, the evening news, we'll have a result by then. We'll have Rishi Sunak coming out. I'm sitting outside 10 Downing Street as we speak, and this is where he'll be tomorrow morning. He'll step outside. He'll deliver his speech. Then he'll go and see the King. Keir Starmer will go and see the King and ask for permission to form a new government. It will all unfold very quickly, and it's quite undignified, I have to say. The removal truck will be here, taking out all Rishi's fine china, and away he goes. That'll be the end of the story for him. But I have to say, the guy's worth a lot of money, so I suspect he's probably planning to put this behind him and maybe go island hopping in Greece or something. Yeah. So I think he'll be just fine.
Step into the private practice somewhere. Ash, as always, magnificent coverage. Really love the work that you do, and we'll be watching your report. Thanks so much for your time this morning.
Pleasure. Great to chat to you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ash.
Great stuff. That's Ash Mullaney there, Channel 7 UK correspondent. And, she's got some experience in covering the big elections, doesn't she? US, UK, you name it, she's covered it. So.
I don't think there's any amount of money that you could pay me to put my hand up to be a Prime Minister. I wouldn't get the votes anyway, but I think that job would absolutely stink.
Yeah.
What's your worst job? What would be the last thing on earth that you'd want to be?
That is a really good question.
I couldn't be an undertaker.
No, undertaker would be tough. Hitman at my size, that'd be tough. That'd be not too many people are going to get intimidated by me.
I don't know. Your bark's, your bark's pretty loud when it needs to be.
Little man syndrome.
Yeah, you can yap.
Yep.
I wouldn't like to be a Ferris wheel operator, or not a Ferris wheel, like a theme park, ride and listen to the screams all day, coming home with a headache.
Yeah, the kids going crazy at the Royal Show.
Yeah.
Something like that. That wouldn't be much fun.
No. Worst job in the world.
Give us a
folks.
call. Yeah, 8223 0000.
We'll throw you some tickets to the Beer and Barbecue Festival.
Send in the text messages as well on the Duttons text line 0448 08 1395. Discover the unparalleled new Turag at Duttons VW. Adelaide Hills, Duttons, easy to do business with. As you get those calls, let's check out the traffic before we go any further, and we'll do that thanks to the Lura House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Tom. At Jepp's Cross, car and truck smash on Grand Junction Road at Prospect Road. Lots of debris there, so take it easy if you're heading that way. First, Watermate at Kensington Gardens. Look look out for today. McGill Road near Glenburn Road. She's down at 40, but she's heading outbound, so no great delays. Busy at Plimpton, Marion Road and Anzac Highway, and slow Brighton Road at Brighton. Cameras below Serenningle Farm and North East Road at St Agnes. Fill up with Shell V-Power 98, the premium fuel designed to deliver greater efficiency and improve performance. It's a decision you can feel good about. Details online. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Head south as the all-new GWM Cannon Alpha has arrived at Southgate GWM Ranella. Larger, smarter and gutsier than ever. Australia's first ever full hybrid ute with a combined 255 kilowatts and 648 newton metres. Also available in a turbo diesel engine with 135 kilowatts and 480 newton metres. All with 3,500 kilo brake towing capacity. Head down to Southgate GWM, 49 Main South Road, Ranella.
Her mum's on the phone while she's on her skates.
Careful, honey, don't get too close to the road.
She rides from the top of the driveway to test how fast she can go. And suddenly...
Wait, stop!
She's testing your brakes too. Stop and take time to ensure your car stops in time and the brakes are all you hit. Let Automasters test your brakes before someone else does. Call 1300 Automasters.
Watch out, my trolley!
Oh no, another dent!
Don't worry, Dent Revolution will fix it.
Dent Revolution? Are they expensive?
They made my car look like new with their paintless dent repairs. They're quick, RAA approved, cheaper than traditional repairs, and they can come to you.
That's exactly what I need.
Dents happen, but we've got you covered. Visit dentrevolution.com.au and send us your dent photos to get a quick quote today.
Join the great cover-up and get a Walco Guardian pool cover. Made right here in SA, a Walco Guardian pool cover will preserve your chemicals, keep your water clean, and you won't need to run your pump. Put your pool to bed for winter. Visit walco.com.au.
Her mum's on the phone while she's on her skates.
Careful, honey, don't get too close to the road. Wait, stop!
Let Automasters test your brakes before someone else does. Call 1300 Automasters.
Know the news with Adelaide's 7 News. Don't miss Adelaide's leading news hour tonight at 6 o'clock.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Tom Wren and Jade Robran.
Coming up to 7:23 here on 5AA Breakfast, it is Jade Robran and Tom Wren with you through until 9 o'clock this morning, Friday the 5th of July, and there's a bit of news that's come through on the roads, Jade, this morning.
Yeah, there's been a car accident in Norwood, the corner of the Parade and Osmond Terrace, along the eastern side of Osmond Terrace there, and Ambo is there. It's city-bound into the city, so chock-a-block there. Traffic is terrible. So if you are driving into work around that area, just, probably take an alternative route.
Speaking about report cards with distinctions, here's Ginever.
Tim Ginever on 5AA Breakfast.
Timmy G! We love having a chat to Timmy G. He's the best, always up and about. Big game tomorrow, of course. He'll be calling the action and he'll be on the show tonight. Don't miss Warren Treadray on the Drive show tonight, thanks to Ignition for Men. Timmy G, how are you, my man?
Oh, very good. Hello, Jade. Hello, Tom. Last morning of waking up early, is it?
Yes. So going to get a nice little sleep in tomorrow and Sunday. Looking forward to that, Timmy.
You've done a great job, guys. Well done. Huge weekend for our teams, isn't it?
Massive.
You just feel like every week it's just there's so much hanging on it. And of course, Port playing the Bulldogs on Saturday, and then the Crows take on Brisbane in Brisbane. What a big task that one is. So just huge things. Selection. A little interesting, but I've got to say Adelaide bringing back Brodie Smith. Now, when you're at that age and you're experienced and all the rest of it, and you drop away form and you have to go back, the toughest thing is like to take the right attitude back and to not only perform but to help your teammates. And by all accounts, Brodie Smith held himself as well as you could possibly do, and just really knew what the situation was and how to get out of it. So his performance last week absolutely warranted his return. So well done. It's a great attitude and a great example, I think, to younger players coming through.
Yeah, never drop your head.
Absolutely. Yeah, just pick yourself up and, you've always got to be humble and just work hard if you do get the tap on the shoulder to go back. Timmy, some fascinating comments as well that you wanted to highlight from our Premier.
Oh, I couldn't believe it, Tom. Last night we got it late through. He went on the Dylan Buckley podcast. Now, young Dylan's done very well in that space. He's sort of an influencer, something that I hope to be one day. And he was speaking about the negotiation on Gather Round and how it went down. Just have a listen.
We learnt pretty quickly that this was all going to Sydney. The whole thing was designed to go to Sydney. And I thought, I want to invest a bit of energy and effort into it in terms of just making a presentation to Gil personally. Yeah. And I went pretty hard in one meeting in particular.
What did you do in the meeting?
I told him how stupid it would be to take it to Sydney. I said, we want it year one. And he said, well, how about if I came back to you and said, you can have it in year two. We'll go to Sydney and have it. I said, I'm not interested. I told him the truth. I said, I'll say no to it because after year one, it'll be dog shit. You'll go to Sydney and you're going to have Brisbane versus Freo in a stadium and I'll be able to count on one hand how many people are there. But I said, go to Sydney year one and you kill it. And I said, don't come to me in year two. And if you do come to me in year two, the offer that we're putting on the table is going to be worth a lot less.
Interesting comments, weren't they, Timmy? And he obviously didn't hold back when he had that meeting with the big boss.
Well, I think he knew. What I love is you go into a negotiation, just know what your strong points are. Do your research, make sure you're loaded up. And he was the example of saying Brisbane v Freo in Sydney, nobody's going, and that was a really good example because here it's a football state. And they want to see games, and people, it's a nice central location, as we know, very close to Melbourne, which was important. But it's just worked so well, and I think there are other ways of promoting the game in Sydney.
And Ground Zero, that works in Sydney. Let them have that. Keep that there. Let us have Gather Round.
Correct, and it got the big clubs up there. It got the crowds that was required. It got the focus that they needed. They did want to do it when NRL were in Vegas, but they just missed out on a week. If they get their timing right on that, that'll be even better. But that's the way to do it and allow Gather Round to do what it's doing. And I think it'd be very hard. I know the WA teams and Commission are interested in getting Gather Round, but you go Melbourne and you look at Melbourne audience. They can drive to Adelaide. And the thing is, you saw already the pricing of flights went through the roof as soon as they announced the dates. Well, they can just get in the car and come over. I think it might be a longer drive to Perth than a flight to Adelaide.
It's not going to work. Forget it.
Exactly. So I think that's the go. We'll continue to keep Gather Round here, at least for the next 2 years. And I've got to say, I went out to the Barossa on the long weekend, and I committed myself and went around to so many wineries. And then I saw the Lindok oval that's being built. It is huge. It is the biggest thing I've seen in ages. It's going to be massive. I think that's going to be so good for the area. And it'll just be interesting to see what games are played where, not only locally, but, Nord have had a couple of years, so they might swap that over. Now, Barker's had a couple of games last year. They might take one at least to the Barossa. So I'm very interested to see what it's doing. It's one of the things that we have to put into our calendar very early.
Yeah, April 10 to 13. He said yesterday, the Premier, his ideal preference would be 2 games in the Barossa, so it'll be interesting to see if that happens. Timmy, massive weekend, like you said, for both the footy teams. Just your tips for both games on the weekend before we let you go?
Look, I'll tell you what, it's going to be tough. Port Adelaide at home against the Bulldogs. They need to lift severely, I think, to get over that one. And it's a game that can be won. You've got to get them in the midfield. That's the real tough one there. Yeah. Port just, and Adelaide go all right against Brisbane, but Brisbane's form line has just been exceptional. They've jumped up into the old, how scores for and scores against. They've jumped right up into the right now. Quadrant. So they're in dangerous form. So the Lions for me.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I don't think there'd be too many arguments with those tips. Timmy, good calling over the weekend. Enjoy the show tonight. Look forward to tuning in.
Well done, guys. Cheery bar.
See you, Timmy.
Great stuff. Timmy Ginever will be on the show tonight. Make sure as well you don't miss Warren Treadray on the Drive show tonight, thanks to Ignition for Men. Time to head across to the newsroom. More coming up with 5AA Breakfast after the 7:30 news.
Ignition for Men. Adelaide's home of luxury menswear offer an impeccable range of suits by leading Italian brands, including tailor-made wedding packages for the groom and groomsmen. Order 3 tailor-made suits and pay just $799 for each. Order 4 or more for just $749 each. Phenomenal value for a quality tailor-made suit. See Ignition for Men for tailor-made wedding packages. 54 Paynham Road, Stepney. ignitionformen.com.au. T's and C's apply.
The best thing about winter? It's got to be the Winter Beer Fest at the one and only Lighthouse Wharf Hotel. It's the best winter party in the port, celebrating winter craft beers from local SA brewers, incredible food all day, live music and a DJ. It all happens under huge marquees to keep you cosy, warm and dry. Get to the Winter Beer Fest, Saturday 6th of July at the Lighthouse Wharf Hotel from midday to midnight with free entry. You just know it's a bro hotel. Drink responsibly.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Cloud clearing in 17 with the 7:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Injured or living with chronic pain? Book an appointment at Physio Extra today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
Britain will soon have a new Prime Minister, with exit polls predicting Labor's heading for a landslide win. Here's UK correspondent Edward Godfrey.
The polls have now closed in the United Kingdom. The exit poll numbers are in, and it's bad for Rishi Sunak and the Conservatives. Sir Keir Starmer's Labor Party is expected to secure 410 seats, giving them a huge majority. The Conservatives expected to win just 131 in what has been called a Labor landslide. A big performer, according to the exit polls, is Reform UK, led by former Brexiteer Nigel Farage. They are expected to win 13 seats, far more than had been expected, a huge statement to the Conservative Party. Things haven't looked good for Rishi Sunak since he called that early election, standing outside number 10 Downing Street in the rain. He was way behind in the polls then, and it's only got worse. He made a big gamble calling the election early, and it appears to have backfired badly. As the count continues, it appears to be Sir Keir Starmer who'll be given the keys to number 10 Downing Street very easily and become the UK's new Prime Minister.
Labor's denying claims the loss of one of its senators is damaging for the party's leadership. Fatima Payman has resigned after being suspended for crossing the floor to vote with the Palestinian recognition. Senior Government Minister Bill Shorten says he's sad to see her go, but it does happen.
It's not the first time that someone has been elected under one flag and changed flag. It does happen. It's not the norm. I wish it hadn't happened, but on the other hand, well, you know, politics and politicians, they keep moving around the place, don't they?
The 29-year-old WA senator isn't ruling out forming her own political party. A man's died after a crash at Glossop in the Riverland yesterday. 2 cars collided at the intersection of Scott Road and Jury Road. The driver of one vehicle, an 84-year-old man, has died. His elderly female passenger was taken to hospital with minor injuries. The driver of the other car, a 21-year-old man, and his 3 passengers were uninjured. The man's death is the 46th life lost on our roads so far this year. Online dating is expected to become safer under a series of new reforms. Alexander Nimmo reports.
Improved complaints and reporting systems, better detection of harmful behaviours and transparent reporting of safety issues are among requirements under the new voluntary code. Major dating app companies have also agreed to share complaints directly with police if there is risk of an imminent threat to life or safety of users. The measures follow a national safety roundtable and data from the Australian Institute of Criminology that found 1/3 of users experienced in-person sexual violence perpetrated by someone they met on a platform in the past 5 years. Dating apps such as Bumble, Grindr, eHarmony and Match are set to become some of the first adopters of the new reforms.
A Queensland man is attempting to break a Guinness World Record. Graham Whittaker's aiming to run the fastest marathon wearing a full-body inflatable dinosaur suit. He's planning to run the Gold Coast Marathon this weekend. Graham says the record to beat is 4 hours and 15 minutes.
A person that did the London Marathon recently who did it in 3 hours and 20 minutes. He ran the entire thing with his head out, arms out and legs out. To actually qualify for the world record, you need to be fully enclosed in it with only your feet out the bottom.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
And here's Jono Edwards.
Thank you, Kendall. An exciting finish to stage 6 of the Tour de France with Dylan Groenewegen claiming victory.
Jasper Philipsen goes. It's Arnold Delee, Biniam Gamay, Philipsen right hand side. Who's going to take it? Photograph, maybe a victory for Groenewegen. It's a photograph of Groenewegen and Philipsen as they threw their bikes at the line.
Jasper Philipsen, who crossed the line in second, was relegated for deviating from his line. 2 Australians have advanced to the third round at Wimbledon. Jordan Tunbridge is there.
Another straight sets win for Alex de Minaur at Wimbledon. The world number 9 looking a step above his Spanish opponent, Jaume Muna. De Minaur to face Frenchman Lucas Pouy, who had a walkover win against an injured Thanasi Kokkinakis. Fellow Australian Alexei Poprin made it through to the third round here for the first time, upsetting 30th seed Thomas Martin Echeverry in 5 sets. There are no Aussies left in the women's draw after Daria Saville went down in 3. As for the big names, Novak Djokovic and Iga Swiatek both advanced.
To footy, and mid-season draftee Ned Long will make his debut for Collingwood tonight when they take on Essendon. And finally, the Boomers have defeated China 91-58 in an Olympic warm-up match. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Morning there. Look out for a smash today at Jepp's Cross. It's on Prospect Road at Grand Junction Road between a truck and a car. Bit of debris there, slow going. At Kensington Gardens, a burst water main. This one's on McGill Road near Glenburn Road, causing delays. And an old small bingle this morning on the parade near Osmond Terrace. Camera 2 today, Lindock Road at Gawler East. Harris Scarf's 4-day friend sale is on now. Smith & Noble 6-litre digital air fryers now $69. Save $130. Conditions apply. Harris Scarf, great brands, great prices. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Cloud clearing and 17. Sunny on Saturday, also 17. Partly cloudy for Sunday, 16. And a shower or two for Monday, 16. At the moment, 10. More news as it happens on 5AA.
If your business needs finance fast, speak to Universal Finance right now. Universal Finance.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Tom Wren and Jade Robran.
It's 23 minutes to 8 o'clock here on 5AA Breakfast. It is Jade Robran and Tom Wren with you through until 9 o'clock this morning. Quite a pleasant sort of morning as we look out across Hindmarsh Square. Certainly a lot warmer than it was when we worked together last on Wednesday, Jade. It was, 0.6 degrees?
Correct. It was actually quite warm walking out today in comparison. It's a beautiful day and a stunning sunset. We're actually getting a couple of photos sent in on the Duttons text line. Thank you for those. And if it's extra beautiful in your neck of the woods, we'd love to see your photos. We'll pop them up on our 5AA Facebook page. But we're heading for a top of 17 degrees, a little bit of cloud around this morning, but clearing. Tomorrow it is going to be 17 degrees and sunny, so a beautiful day for the Power to take on Western Bulldogs at Adelaide Oval. Sunday, 16 degrees, partly cloudy, so quite a beautiful winter's weekend, Tom.
Yeah, it's looking good, isn't it? Particularly for the football, as you say. And if you send those text messages through, we'll look to upload them on the Foodland Supermarket Facebook and YouTube live stream, so keep them coming. 0448 08 1395. Thank you so much for that. But right now, Jade, it's time to talk some federal politics, and we're joined by Zack Dilva, who's our 9 Radio federal politics reporter. Zack, good morning to you, and thanks so much for joining us.
Morning, guys. Good to be with you.
Tell us, a big story that has happened in the last sort of few days. Outspoken Senator Fatima Payman has quit Labor over the party's stance on Palestine. What precipitated all of this, and is this a bit of a disaster for the Albanese government?
Yeah, look, this has been bubbling away for a while. A couple of weeks ago, it all kind of really kicked off when Fatima Payman called a press conference to criticise the government's stance on the war in Gaza and used the controversial protest phrase, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. This is a phrase that the Prime Minister has previously criticised, and so it was a fairly significant departure from Labor policy for Fatima Payman to go out and use that in a press conference. Since then, it's kind of ramped up, and we saw last week she voted against her own colleagues on the floor of the Senate. The Greens put forward this motion pushing for Palestinian statehood that she supported. Labor tried to amend it. The amendment didn't get up, so they opposed it. Now, Labor has this rule of caucus solidarity, which means you can thrash everything out in private, you can have the debate in the party room, but as soon as you go onto the floor of Parliament or out into the public, you're supposed to present a united front. And Fatima Payman didn't do that. She was punished for it. She was suspended from the party room. And from that point, it seemed like her career with Labor was over. And we saw yesterday confirmation that she will now sit in Parliament as an independent. So this has been bubbling away for a while. It presents a couple of challenges for Labor now. It means, I guess, from a purely political perspective, they've got one more independent they have to negotiate with if they want to get anything through Parliament.
So she said that she was deeply torn over the decision. I mean, was she pushed or was it her decision?
Yeah, when she said she was deeply torn, she said she was torn between the support of union members, of lifelong Labor members, members of the Labor Party who aren't necessarily in Parliament, who are urging her to stick with it, stay with the party, and try and bring about change from inside the party. But she said this was an issue that she couldn't compromise on, that she felt she had to speak out about it, and so decided really that there was no other option for her other than to leave the party. I think when we say, was she pushed, I think a big part of this was probably Labor Party rules that require people to vote as one. This is not a rule that the coalition has. In fact, they celebrate the fact that they allow members to cross the floor and vote against their colleagues on certain things, even though they might be criticised for it at the time. They hold it up as a principle of their party that they are democratic in that way. And I'm sure there will be some Labor members, probably not that many, but there will be some Labor members questioning those solidarity rules. And in a world where they're trying to attract more diverse candidates exactly like Fatima Payman, whether those rules are still serving the party.
In modern day politics, is it healthy for us to have someone like Fatima represent as a representation, or do we need everybody to, stay in the same line and be uniformed? Or is this healthy to have someone outspoken that, rocks the boat occasionally?
I mean, both parties have been trying to improve the diversity of their membership, and particularly their parliamentary membership. This has been a big issue for a while. That's why Labor has things like gender quotas to try and improve the representation of women. Labor in particular has been very strong on trying to improve the diversity of its party. And so I think they would have been quite pleased when Fatima Payman was first pre-selected and then got into the Senate in a really tough-to-win spot. She was third on the Senate ticket in WA, which normally Labor doesn't win, but they had a surge of support and she got into Parliament on that. And so, I don't know, I think Labor would have been quite happy to have her in Parliament, and this is now really kind of blown up and shows, I think, the limits of some of these party rules. She says she continues to hold Labor values. She's said that a number of times, and so you would expect, when it comes to votes in Parliament, you'd expect she'd continue voting along Labor lines a lot of the time, but she wouldn't guarantee that in her press conference yesterday, saying, we'll have to wait and see. I'll have to look at it and decide how I feel on each individual motion. So it's really now a wait-and-see situation to see how she handles it.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess logistically that means key legislation that the government is looking to push through, the Senate, that becomes problematic, doesn't it? It could become tricky now for the Albanese government.
Yes. As of 2 days ago, before Fatima Payman quit Labor, if Labor wanted to get something through the Senate, they either had to get the support of the coalition, which was normally pretty tough, or they had to get the Greens and I think 2 crossbenchers on board. Now they have to get another crossbencher on board because they've lost one of their own. So purely from a negotiation perspective, it does make things trickier for them in the Senate. And the other thing is, Fatima Payman, the way the Senate works, she's got another 4 years of her term. So she's not going away anytime soon. So it'll be really interesting seeing how this relationship pans out, given she's a former Labor MP and a former Labor senator and has been quite critical of her now former party as well.
Zach, can I ask you about these protests at Parliament House? There's a review that's been launched into this massive security breach after pro-Palestine protesters climbed onto the roof. Were you there? How did it all unfold?
Yeah, I was there out the front as this was all happening, and it was quite an impressive security breach. Like, I haven't seen anything like this before. We've now seen a bit of video footage of that was taken by Rosie Lewis, a journalist at The Australian, as she was walking into work and just happened to see these four people running onto the roof of Parliament House. It looks like what's happened is, if you kind of know what Parliament House looks like, they've run up one of the lawns on the side of the building. These are the lawns that you used to be able to roll down, and you could walk all the way up to the top and roll down. It was a very popular pastime. They kind of ended all of that because of this exact concern. They put big security fences up so that if you wanted to get to the top of the building, you had to go through security. It looks like what these people have done is run up the lawn, climbed over a fence, and then run onto the roof and unfurled these big pro-Palestine protest banners. They were up there for probably, it was about an hour and a half. The police, it sounded like they were trying to negotiate to get them down. I heard little kind of on the breeze caught snippets of the protesters talking to, I'm presuming, the police, saying, "Oh, we're just going to stay up here a bit longer, but thank you for your work." They were very polite. And eventually they came down and were arrested and have now been charged and are before the courts. They've also been banned from Parliament House for the next 2 years because of this.
Oh, funny that. My golly. And members of the public, they were cleared. I think there was were senators sitting?
Yeah. Parliament was sitting. Everyone was in the building, and security, they do this all the time to protest because Parliament being Parliament, there are protests all the time. If the protests get right up to the front, security will shut the main public entrance. You can still get in if you've got a pass, if you're a member of the media or a politician or their staff. You can still get into the building, but it means that visitors can't get into the building and they have to come out through the car park. So it's a fairly normal thing for the front of the building to be shut for something like this. But the security breach was massive, and the concern is these were peaceful protesters. You know, it doesn't seem like they had any intention to harm anyone. Clearly they didn't. But the concern is now that's clearly a vulnerability in the Parliament security, and what's to stop someone else who isn't peaceful getting in the same way?
That's right. That's the big question. Zach, thank you so much. We're glad you're safe and sound.
Pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the update. 9 Radio Federal Politics reporter Zack Dilva there.
13 minutes to 8 o'clock here on 5AA Breakfast. Time to check out what's happening with the traffic, and we do that all thanks to the Louvre House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Tom. Still cleaning up after the earlier car and truck crash at Jeps Cross, Green Junction Road at Prospect Road. Still take it easy through there. Kensington Gardens, Burst Watermain, McGill Road near Glenburn Road got speeds at 40. Little sluggish at the moment. Anzac Highway at Ashford heading into the city, and quite busy Brighton Road at Glenelg East just at Jetty Road there. Cameras North Street, Angaston, and Ways Road at Manningham. Try new Wonder 5 Health Star bread with 3 times the fibre for soft white and prebiotic for soft multigrain, both with the same Wonder taste you love. It's the best thing since ever. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
I'll grab a few people I know. We'll mark out some places to go. There's no invitation, just a destination, and that's the best freedom I know. Jump in the Jayco. Jump in the Jayco. Yeah, that's the best freedom I know.
It all started with a pen and paper 35 years ago. Lots of ideas and a ton of innovation. Nothing's changed. Beechwood Homes is still building stunning bespoke homes right across South Australia. Under construction right now is another Beechwood Homes masterpiece at Blackwood Park. This new display home will showcase Beechwood's dedication to cutting-edge design, craftsmanship and innovation. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Here's some great news from Darren and Chris at ACET Transport Solutions. They've just added crane trucks on their fleet. These rigid trucks have their own crane for safe loading and unloading, perfect for the big stuff. With over 20 years of experience and over 200 vehicles in their fleet, there's plenty of rigid crane trucks on deck ready for your next delivery. Whatever the load, ACET Transport Solutions will handle your delivery safely.
Don't just send it, ACET.
Don't just send it, ACET.
Oh, you know what would be great to have in an Austrac camper? A wireless phone charger. Just a sec. Yeah, mate. What's that? Austrac campers already have wireless phone chargers? Oh, yep. No, I'll tell him.
Austrac campers.
Welcome to Life's Key Moments, brought to you by First National Real Estate.
A key to my home where my furry friends are always welcome.
The key to endless adventures in my retirement.
The key to growing our own veggies and plenty of space for the kids to play.
The key to living the dream away from the big smoke.
The kids and girls night.
Every night.
Your key to happiness awaits. Visit firstnational.com.au or call 1800 032 332. First National Real Estate. We put you first.
Hey, you in the car. If your next service is due, just remember that Mawson Lakes Mazda has your back. We'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. Your car gets the love too, with our state-of-the-art service centre brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Tom Wren and Jade Robran.
It is 7:51 here on 5AA Breakfast. Currently 10 degrees outside, a gorgeous morning. Going to be a pretty pleasant day out there as well. And again tomorrow for the football, which is fantastic. A few drops of rain come Monday next week, it's looking like. But looking pretty good over the weekend, which is great news.
Absolutely. And we're getting some beautiful photos that people are sending in of the sunrise. I think I said sunset before. So Ros Bolton has messaged in saying her backyard in Old Ranella, it's a sea of orange. It's just beautiful out there this morning. It's beautiful 17 degrees top that we're reaching today. A lot of messages coming through on the Duttons text line 0448 08 1395. We touched on the worst job, I think, being the Prime Minister would be the worst job. So we put the call out there. What would be the worst jobs that you would just really not want to take on? So Lucy's would be a dentist. Anything to do with teeth and mouth? Nope. Paddy, he said anything to do with blood. He's just not into that. So he's not coming back as a vampire later.
Or a doctor.
Or a doctor, no. This is a funny one. Worst job would be Wolverine's proctologist. That is Scott in Rodbury, who is a very funny guy. Simon in Tanunda said the worst job would be a Centrelink income test assessor. Why would you?
That'd be tough. Parking inspector, I wouldn't fancy that job much.
Nah.
That's something I wouldn't like to do.
I've had a few recently.
Parking fines?
Yeah, I went through a couple of years of not being fined at all, and then all of a sudden the black clouds
It's
just
so
following
frustrating.
me everywhere.
Yeah.
And you can see, and the worst thing is when they've just popped it on, and you
try and argue
to
your
be
way.
nice to everyone, but not sticker lickers. You just, for some reason, and I do wonder, why would you choose that profession?
Yeah, it's tough. And look, I do feel for them as well, because they're only doing a job and they're probably expected to get a quota of tickets, and it's hard. But there are times when you've missed it by a minute or two, and it's...
I know.
You know,
and you're at fault. The only person to blame is yourself. It's not them. They're only doing their job, but you still don't like them.
Oh, exactly. You know, you take it out on the person, you know, that's issuing the fine. But yeah, keep those texts coming and give us a call, 8223 0000. We've got 4 tickets to give away to the Adelaide Beer and Barbecue Fest, which returns to the Adelaide Showgrounds across the weekend of July 12 to 14. Get your tickets now from beerbbqfest.com.au.
Maybe you've already had the worst job.
Yeah.
Maybe you're in the worst job. 8223 0000. What do you want to get out? What would you go to? We've got another message. Very exciting to see the huge development of the football stadium at Lyndoch. We were touching on Gather Round and how it's moving to the Barossa and injecting millions of dollars into that. It will look sensational. However, the aerial shots highlighted the disused railway line right next to it. Can you please ask the Premier next time you chat if he has plans to reinstate passenger trains on this section of line? Lyndoch is literally a drop punt from Gawler Central, the current terminal. They did stop that a couple of years ago, and imagine how good that would be. Jump on a train, go out to the Barossa, have a bit of a tourist bus go around to all the beautiful restaurants and cellar doors, get back on the train and head back into the city. I reckon if you revamped that, that'd be really popular. And then, of course, Monday to Friday then, all the people that are living down there, quick commute into the city.
Yeah, and the other thing you've been asking for too, Jade, is those pictures of sunrises. Send them through and we'll look to upload them on the Foodland Supermarket Facebook and YouTube live stream, so we'll endeavour to do that. Now, of course, we had the Police Commissioner. He was a guest on the show on Tuesday, Jade, and on Sunday night there's going to be a very special story featuring him and his family on the tragic passing of Charlie Stevens, which happened only about 7 or 8 months ago. This is a promo for Channel 9's 60 Minutes.
On a roadside, police preparing to deliver the news no family wants to hear.
Heartbreak beyond words.
It's 18-year-old Charlie Stevens, son of Commissioner Grant Stevens and his wife Emma.
The police boss, his teenage son, mowed down in a hit and run.
Just rip your guts out.
A raw and powerful 60 Minutes, forgiving their son's killer.
The compassion you feel for the driver.
Turning tragedy into hope.
He's always here. Everywhere you look, there's a bit of Charlie.
60 Minutes you can't miss. Sunday on 9.
Tara Brown with that story. I know they've done a lot of work and talked about Operation Flinders. Look, we're fortunate enough to know the family very well, and I think most South Australians feel like they know the family very well, given the role he played during COVID and then those tragic events last year. It was just awful in November during school. It was a horrible time.
Tom, I don't know how you talk so well about this. I listen to that and it breaks my heart hearing what that family goes through. And I don't know him. Charlie was part of your life, your family, and you're very close to this family. And listening to that all over again, I know at the time you and I was covering it for Sunrise, you covered it for the Today Show, and it resonates, I think, with every South Australian that you want to take on some of their pain to take it away from this family that just doesn't deserve to go through what they did. And it's a story that touches me every single time I hear about it. I really have a reaction to it, and I think they're incredibly brave, and the empathy that they are showing towards the driver, I know that made this split decision in his life, and he'll have to live with that forever. But as a parent to lose a child, I don't even know how they're putting one foot in front of the other. It's extreme bravery, and I commend you because I know how close you are. I think it's remarkable what they're doing.
Oh, thank you, Jade. Yeah, I think you're right. I think because, we saw the amount of work that he did, and he was almost this father-type figure, wasn't he, Grant?
He protected all of us.
And then to have, it was the cruelest irony, wasn't it, that then,
it just shouldn't have happened.
Someone in his family, while he's protecting everyone else's, that it happened like that. And the thing that got me was the letter. When we all read that, I mean, that just tears you apart as a parent, a father and mother, because you think of your own family and you're so vulnerable, and it's just, I know there'll be tears on Sunday night. And look, unfortunately, Jade, one of the other things and reasons we're talking about this is on the front page of the paper today. Up to 10 SA Health staff members have been suspended over allegations, and they are just allegations at this stage, that they inappropriately accessed the medical records of Charlie Stevens. So.
And this just beggars belief to me.
It does,
and they're obviously, the authorities are onto this straight away, and they've kept the family informed. We have to have thoughts for other families that are also involved. There's several other families whose their family members have had their records looked into as well. I think what sets this apart when we're talking about the Stevens family is because we know the case so well. We feel some sort of attachment to Charlie, and what those feelings, I guess, excess of anger and disgust we feel towards these people that have tapped into this information can also be shared with these other families. It's disgusting. Why you even think it's okay to tap into somebody's private records just for a bit of gossip or what?
Or your own curiosity, or
why would you do it?
Yeah.
And I think they will be dealt with very harshly, because most people out there with a brain and a heart would realise that this is just despicable behaviour that's just not tolerated. Zero tolerance for that.
Well said. I think that sums it up perfectly. I think most people, and it might just be sticky beaking curiosity. It doesn't. But if there's something more
But you're an
sinister,
adult.
that's right.
You're an adult, and you know when you sign up to work in such a privileged environment, it's in your contract or in the rules and regulations of your company, do not do this. So don't do it.
Yeah.
And if you do, see you later.
Coming up to 8 o'clock, we'll head across to the newsroom. More coming up on 5AA Breakfast.
Get the garden you want at Garden Grove. Wander through Garden Grove's beautiful nursery, blooming with thousands and thousands of plants, greenery, and all the colours of the rainbow. There are plants for inside and plants for out. For the garden you want, see Garden Grove. Golden Grove Road, Golden Grove.
Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, the garden that I want.
Phone 8251 1111 for delivery to all areas.
If your business needs finance fast, speak to Universal Finance right now. Universal Finance make business loans easy. Unsecured business loans and business overdrafts. Universal Finance can help your business now with same-day settlements in most cases. See Universal Finance in Kent Town or search Universal Finance. This is general advice only, and you should consider the terms and conditions before determining whether this advice is suitable for your situation.
Up-to-the-minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Cloud clearing in 17 with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Kendall Bretig.
Keep in shape with physio-instructed clinical Pilates and gym classes at 6 locations. physioextra.com.
Britain will soon have a new Prime Minister as Labor heads towards a landslide win. Exit polls suggest Sir Keir Starmer's party is heading towards a crushing victory. While in the US, President Biden is fighting to stay in the election race, declaring his disastrous debate performance was just a bad night. More from Lauren Tomasi in the US.
This is crunch time for Joe Biden. The next few days, make or break for the president to prove he remains the viable Democratic candidate. It's been 1 week since the disastrous debate, the performance continuing to dog the president, but he's vowed to fight on. Today, the Bidens are hosting a 4th of July barbecue ahead of the president's first television interview tomorrow. There's no room for error, with donors and Democratic backers watching closely, and it comes as it's been revealed the president told governors during a meeting at the White House he must sleep more and work less at night. It's a crucial few days ahead as Joe Biden fights for his political life.
A review of security at Parliament House in Canberra will be carried out after 4 protesters managed to gain access to the roof and unfurl pro-Palestinian banners. They accused Australia of supporting war crimes before eventually being brought down. Liberal Senator Simon Birmingham says everyone has a right to free speech, but how you protest matters.
And these were protests that put, frankly, the lives of security and other officials in danger by being in a very perilous and high position on the edge of Parliament House. And they were also protests that saw an anti-Semitic slogan strung from the front of our nation's parliament, a shameful stain on this building.
A teenage boy has been granted bail after being arrested and charged with possessing extremist material. David Bruce reports.
The 13-year-old from the southern suburbs appeared in the youth court yesterday afternoon via video link. Prosecutors said they were concerned about the boy's mental health because he's susceptible to negative influence. Defence counsel for the teenager, who's believed to be on the autism spectrum, has said the boy's arrest has been a wake-up call for his family. The boy's been allowed supervised bail at home, but he's not allowed to use any electronic device capable of accessing the internet. He'll appear in court again next week.
A Port Lincoln dad caught with meth in Bali will have to serve a 6-month stint in rehab. 49-year-old Troy Smith has avoided jail time and a hefty fine. Another life has been lost on our roads, the 46 so far this year. 2 cars collided at Glossop in the Riverland yesterday. The driver of one car, an 84-year-old man, died. His elderly female passenger was taken to hospital with minor injuries. The driver of the other car and his passengers were not harmed. A stolen motorbike has been clocked at extreme speed in the northern suburbs. It was tracked by Polair through the back streets of Parafield Gardens, Salisbury North and Salisbury yesterday afternoon, reaching speeds of up to 160 k's an hour in a 60 zone on Salisbury Highway. Senior Constable Peter Williams says it was tracked to a block of units.
The rider, a 29-year-old Salisbury man, was inside the unit. Checks on the motorcycle identified that the registration plates on it weren't actually the correct ones, and the correct rego was identified as a stolen motorbike from Windvale in 2023. Further checks on the man identified that he actually isn't allowed to have a licence.
And a person has been rescued in regional Victoria this morning after getting stuck in a drop toilet. Eddie Summerfield explains.
The alarm was raised just after 2 this morning, with emergency services called to a property in McSween's Road in Indigo Valley near Wodonga. A person was stuck in a drop toilet. Crews worked to remove the structure around them and safely rescued them, the operation taking around 45 minutes. CFA crews handing the person over to paramedics for assessment.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
A rescue with a difference, Jono Edwards.
That's a bad one. Well, let's turn to sport, and Brodie Smith is set to return to the Adelaide side to take on Brisbane this weekend. Coach Matthew Nix saying the leadership group member has more to come.
He's a big part of our future. He's a big part of where we're at as a footy club as it is, for the service he's given, and there's more to come.
The Crows have added 4 players to its extended squad, including Brodie Smith, James Borlase, Chase Jones and Chris Burgess. Riley Philthorpe will play his second sample game for the season as he continues his return from a long-term knee injury. There's growing discontent in the West at the West Coast Eagles, with reports in Western Australia where players don't want Adam Simpson to coach beyond this year. West Coast is coming off a 61-point loss to Hawthorn, heading into Sunday's clash with Melbourne at the MCG. Simpson says it's all white noise to him.
When you play and you perform what you do on the weekend, I'm not surprised they're asking that question. So I've just got to keep going and keep working hard as I can to try and get the group better and continue the path that we set out at the start of the year, and knowing I think we can be better than we were on the weekend. So.
To tennis, and Aussie men Alexei Popyrin and Alex de Minaur have won through to their third round at Wimbledon. Thanasi Kokkinakis has had to withdraw in the third set of his second round match with a knee injury. And finally, the Boomers have smashed China 91-58 in their final game on home soil before the Olympics. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
Jeps Cross, car and truck smash on Grand Junction Road at Prospect Road. Lots of debris there, so take it easy if you're heading that way today. Kensington Gardens, still got a burst water main slowing proceedings up McGill Road near Glenburn Road. Getting busy at the moment, South Road at Theberton. Slow going, Brighton Road at Glenelg East with a camera this morning. Ways Road at Manningham. Check out what's fresh at your local IGA this week. Australian Pink Lady apples, $4.49 per kilo. Participating IGA stores until July 9, or while stocks last. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Cloud clearing in 17, sunny tomorrow, also 17, partly cloudy for Sunday, 16, and a shower or two Monday, 16. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
The sun's heat can reach up to 27 million degrees. It's exactly the kind of warmth we were going for with the Aldi children's down jacket, keeping little ones sufficiently snug through winter for only $34.99. Snug. Ultra light and insulated. It's special you can buy at the Aldi Outdoor Adventure Sale this Saturday. Aldi. Good different.
The Excelsior Hotel takes on the big freeze for MND. Sunday 7th of July, 12 to 4 p.m. Tickets are $15 and include a complimentary drink and sausage sizzle. Dunk local legends. Groove to tunes provided by DJ Tommy Tequila, or bid in the silent auction for a chance to win a 2024 Cox Cup full food and beverage package for 10 people. Check our socials for event and ticket details for the big freeze. July 7 at the Excelsior Hotel. You just know it's a Bro Hotel.
For 40 years, Steinborner has been well worth the trip for a new, used or demo vehicle. Back in the day, Michael Steinborner opened Steinborner Holden with just 6 staff on a single site in Gawler. Now they have operations in Gawler, Clare and the Barossa Valley, employing and training around 100 staff, and continue to invest in local community groups with a focus on junior sports. Steinborner Automotive, celebrating 40 years of being well worth the trip for thousands of South Australians.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Tom Wren and Jade Robran.
We've had a ball coming to you this week on 5AA Brekkie. Jade Robran, Tom Wren, through until 9 o'clock. We're into our final hour. Josh Rachele is going to be in the studio this hour in the next 10 minutes or so. Really looking forward to that. It's Feedback Friday, and that means, Jade, we've got some questions. They're pretty straightforward too from what Lucy's told me, so I'll take her word for it. A Sam Tass seafood voucher to give away as well. So looking forward to giving that prize away, and keep those calls coming, 8223 0000. What's the worst job you could imagine? We've got more prizes to give away, so plenty of giveaways this hour on 5AA Breakfast.
We do. This one's a pretty bad job. Worst job, a toilet cleaner. Patrons don't always have toilets in a clean condition. Yeah, that's gross. Oh, and a parent. Rosie says, being a parent is not much of a job, as from the minute they are born, they are a worry. My 2 are in their 50s and I still worry. Then there are the grandchildren and great-grandchildren to worry about. It's so true, isn't it, Rosie? Little people, little people's problems. Big people, big people's problems.
It never really stops, does it?
It never stops. Do you know, to me, that is the best job I have ever done, and my CV is quite long. I've done a few things in my time, but right at the top of my list is being a parent, but it's the one that will send me, that's with the wrinkles and the grey hair. You're constantly worried.
And you're constantly spending too. They're pretty costly
Especially
kids, aren't
school
they?
holidays. Oh, my golly. Hey, let's go straight to Hayden Nelson from 7 News Adelaide and also Sunrise. Hayden, as the South Aussie father, Troy Smith, he's avoided jail in Bali for drug charges. 7 News broke this last night. I was really taken aback by this. This is quite surprising.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I think this has surprised everyone and really shocked everyone. Not only the fact that he's managed to avoid having a single day behind bars after being convicted for this, but just the fact how quickly this judgment's come about. He's faced a panel of judges for this trial, which has been going for about a week or so now in that court in Denpasar. We've seen all sorts of evidence being put in front of that court. We saw a month or so ago they brought a tube of toothpaste out. This is the toothpaste he was prosecutors had said they found 3 grams of methamphetamine inside in his Kuta hotel room, which was posted from a Cairns address. They also showed a letter, and it was in this courtroom where he was told he was avoiding a jail sentence. Instead, he'll have to serve 4 months in rehabilitation. The judge, particularly lenient, also waiving a $740,000 fine, which is just a huge amount of money. Lucky he had to avoid that, really. I mean, he'd have to thank his lawyers. They argued that he wouldn't be suitable for jail, that he was an addict and he needed help. He was originally facing a charge for drug trafficking. That is a maximum life sentence, but they managed to get that downgraded to drug possession. So there was a really lucky moment for Troy Smith. I mean, we know historically the Indonesian justice system can be particularly brutal on people accused of drug offences, and particularly Australians. I mean, Australians have been executed for similar charges.
It is unbelievable. My mind goes back to Michelle Leslie, whose legal team were incredibly smart with that too. And she turned Muslim whilst she was there, and that played a significant part in, I guess, I don't want to say the agreement that was made, but there was a lot of talking behind the scenes that she walked away from her situation fairly unscathed as well. But of course, you mentioned the Bali 9, Chappelle Corby. That certainly didn't, go down the same path. This is absolutely extraordinary, though.
I think so, and I think for me, it was a surprise how quickly that this has been wrapped up in the courts. I mean, those cases with the Bali 9 were incredibly protracted, taking years before there was sort of a result, or different movements in terms of jail time, in terms of appeals and that kind of thing. But this has been wrapped up pretty quickly. Troy Smith will have, as I said, 4 months in rehabilitation, and then the expectation is he'll probably want to return back to Port Lincoln. He is a father of 2 children. He does have a wife. He did put out a video immediately after the court case yesterday, thanking his wife, thanking his mum and sister. So he clearly wants to be back with his family. He clearly wants to be with them. We saw how sort of dazed and crazy it was when he was originally going back and forth from jail and the court. He said, "Go the power," which was apparently a signal to his family to say that he's okay. He thanked his wife, Tracy, for her support, but you can imagine when he does return back here to South Australia, I mean, well, not certain for sure, but authorities here may have some questions of their own as well.
Amazing scenes. Hayden, thanks so much for jumping on the line this morning and bringing us up to speed. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jade. Thanks, Tom.
Great stuff. Hayden Nelson there from 7 News Adelaide, and we'll follow that case with great interest. But yeah, it sounds like he's going to go into that rehab centre for the next few months. Let's hope he gets the help he needs and then can return home to his family and get his life back on track.
Thank you very much, Hayden Nelson there. Now, this our next guest that we're going to be talking to has said that extremism amongst our youth is one of the biggest and scariest, well, I guess the biggest and scariest things that we're going to have to face in our lifetime moving forward. It is at the forefront of our minds at the moment in regards to what happened in Marion Shopping Centre last week. And then last night, we heard that a boy, a 13-year-old boy, has received one hell of a wake-up call. He has been arrested and charged with possessing extremist material. He faced court. He's been granted bail after being arrested and charged with 1 count of possessing extremist material. A huge police investigation was looking into this young man. He's from the southern suburbs. He did appear in the Adelaide Youth Court yesterday via a video link in the Magistrates Court. And this seems to be happening more and more. And the scariest part of this is that it's happening under the roofs of parents and they're very unaware. Our next guest is Duncan McNab. He is a former detective and now crime writer. Duncan, thank you so much for your time. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Jade.
Do you think that this is one of the biggest issues that we're going to face in our time? It's basically like a war in our own backyard, isn't it?
Yeah, I find it just incredibly challenging as someone who's worked with kids at a professional level years and years ago. You see this radicalism, and it is literally starting in their homes, often under the noses of their parents and their peers and their schools. And I think I woke up to the issue very, very abruptly a couple of years ago when a 15-year-old boy in Sydney, Farhad Jabbar, murdered Curtis Cheng, a bloke working in finance in the New South Wales Police Force. He simply walked out of his office that afternoon and into bullets fired by a 15-year-old kid who'd been radicalised through his peer group, but substantially through his sister, who fled the country and later ended up as a recruiter for ISIS. And that sort of sends a shudder down your spine. This kid was literally radicalised in part at the kitchen table of his home without his parents knowing, without probably his other family members knowing. So, yeah, it's bloody scary, and we're seeing a rise in it now. Police incidents throughout Australia in the last couple of months to a year or so of people between 12 and 16 being radicalised, some of them actually committing terrible acts, like we had, for example, in West Sydney and Wakeley, which is currently before the court, where a priest was stabbed on a live stream religious ceremony. So, yeah, I think it's incredibly challenging. We've had issues with radicalisation or absorbed grooming of kids for criminal gangs as well for years. It's not new. This is just the new and very sinister twist on something we've had a problem with for a lot of years.
Duncan, sorry, you go, Jade.
How are they finding these young men, well, men and women, and are they preying on the ones that are, quite vulnerable, quite lonely?
Yeah, gangs tend to recruit. Broadly, they target the disenfranchised kids. Kids who are uncomfortable at home, kids who aren't terribly well socially structured, kids who are looking at life somewhere else. And I spoke to an expert in de-radicalisation recently. He said the great targeting for people like this, or the great vulnerability of these people, is boredom. They need to be diverted to something that will give them some purpose, something some meaning. And unfortunately, these groups, if the kids are looking around online, they will go to these sites where they can get this interest, this comfort happening, and all of a sudden they've got, they're heading down that path. And de-radicalisation tends to be not scold them for doing something naughty, but actually giving them a useful, viable, socially acceptable alternative.
And Duncan, those ages you talk on, 12 to 16, it's when you're so impressionable, aren't you? And you're looking for someone to be a role model, and if someone shows an interest, you can be easily led astray. I guess the question is for parents, grandparents, guardians, friends, etc. What are some of the warning signs, and how can you best, ensure that something like this doesn't happen under your roof?
I suppose just really simple things, and also schools are involved. And local policing too is involved. If you've got a concern, if the teen is difficult to deal with, God knows, but that's probably common with teens. But keep an eye on actually what they're doing online. Take a really, I know it can be intrusive, but you've got to see what they're looking at online. I mean, you've got to be cyber safe with these kids, so they're not going down into some appalling rabbit holes that are so easily to access on the internet. And if they're hanging around with people who are potentially bad news, older people, for example, who may have some criminal or radical ties, have a look at them, and you just don't sit there and hope it goes away. Do something.
Great advice. Duncan, thanks so much for your time this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Will.
Duncan McNab there, former detective and now crime writer, talking about youth extremism and some of the issues that we are facing at the moment. It is 20 minutes past 8 o'clock. Time to check out what's happening on the roads, all thanks to the Louver House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
At Kensington Gardens, a burst water main McGill Road near Glenburn Road, speeds at 40 heading outbound. Slow for works at Plimpton, Marion Road near Anzac Highway. Works at Modbury North this morning, McIntyre Road near Milne Road, and getting busy at the moment is at Donald Rabbit Drive as you're heading into the city. Cameras Blacks Road, Gillis Plains and North Street to Angaston. The Woolworths online super sale is on now, up to 50% off new products every week until August 6. Shop woolworths.com.au. Exclusions and T's and C's apply while stocks last. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Need a truck, van, car, ute, hybrid, 12 to 25 seater bus or something else? Budget Car and Truck Rental have you sorted. Plus trolleys, trailers, boxes, furniture covers, tapes, blankets and many other accessories. Whatever the job, Budget is your one-stop shop. With multiple locations across Metro and regional SA, it couldn't be easier. Budget Car and Truck Rental. Get to the good stuff. Call 13 27 27 or visit budget.com.au.
It's Milton from Vidoulis Garden Centre. After 64 years, Vidoulis Garden Centre is closing its doors. With huge savings on all stock, now is the best time to come in and grab a bargain. Plants, pots, fertilisers and tools, gifts, homewares and outdoor furniture. It's all got to go. First in, best dressed. Vidoulis Garden Centre's closing down sale. On now while stocks last. Main North Road, Gawler, opposite the racecourse.
Phantom Screens are the only manufacturer that make outdoor blinds up to 12 metres long. More than enough for an outdoor entertainment kitchen, a mini golf course, a herd of mountain goats, and the 190B Buster Mitchum. Since 1995, Phantom Screens have been improving homes with top quality, powder-coated, aluminium-framed retractable screens. Whatever space you have, there's a Phantom Screen for you at phantomscreens.com.au.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. The Lynn Andrews team have seen a lot of change in real estate over the past 50 years, but one thing remains unchanged: our passion to help people invest in their future. To build strong property portfolios in either the residential or the commercial sectors. Our commitment to property investment over the years means we have a wealth of knowledge to share. We're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Hey, you in the car. If your next service is due, just remember that Mawson Lakes Mazda has your back. We'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. Your car gets the love too, with our state-of-the-art service centre brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Know the news with Adelaide's 7 News. Don't miss Adelaide's leading news hour tonight at 6 o'clock.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Tom Wren and Jade Robran.
24 minutes past 8 o'clock. You can check us out on the Foodland Supermarket Facebook and YouTube live stream. Keep your calls coming, 8223 0000. What's the worst job? We've got some prizes to give away. Otherwise, you can send us a text 0448 08 1395.
He's class personified. Rachele! Out comes the boxing gloves!
And fresh off an outstanding performance against GWS, 18 touches, 15 kicks. He booted 2 goals for, and it was great to see him in some really red-hot form on the weekend. Josh, thanks so much for coming in. Congratulations on a great win for the team and a really good game personally as well.
Yeah, good morning. It was a great win for us, and especially personally. It was good. As I was mentioning before off air, we had a lot of contributors, and I thought there was no clear standouts. Everyone kind of played their role, and in the end, it was a great, hard-fought game.
It certainly was, and one of the other players, I mean, I know you said everyone did play well, it was great, but Zack Rankin, goodness me, when he turns it on, he just does things that not many players can.
No, and especially to see some of his stats at halftime was pretty ridiculous. So I think a lot of people would be happy with that in one game. I mean, sorry, in a half. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, he was crazy, and to see his improvement, especially in the midfield, the last kind of 6 to 8 weeks has been amazing. I think that position has really fitted seamlessly for him.
But with that always comes a little bit of extra attention, as we know. You're taking on Brizzy on Sunday. Do we think Jared Berry may pay him a bit of extra attention?
Yeah, I'm not too sure in that space. He's played a lot on Brandon Starcevic, so I'm not sure if he follows him around, especially for stoppages and things like that. But maybe when he's in the midfield, you'd expect him to go. He's been going to a lot of players, Berry. He might even go to our skip doors. So I'm not too sure, but I know he'll handle it fine.
And I know we were just talking off air as well about Riley Thilthorpe, who, we want to see back. But one more week, you must be excited that he's getting closer. He's such a big presence now. Jade was saying how much weight he's put on, and in terms of muscle
physically
and strength.
and mentally, a big presence. He is a unit, isn't he?
He looks good.
He's crazy. He's actually going for the bench press record today at the club. So he's down at Next Gen. A lot of the boys are getting around him. So Nick Murray got that early in the season. So he's trying to beat that. But yeah, he's just done so much work over the last kind of 10 to 12 weeks to get his body right. And it was great to see him last week have a good impact in the sample. But I think Nixie just wanted him to go and have one more consistent game. But when he comes back into our squad, he's going to be such a big presence up forward.
What kind of lift is that for the whole team when you lose someone so significant? Because there was so much pinned on him. He had a huge pre-season and, high hopes. And then when he went down, I feel like the whole team sort of went, oh. So to bring him back, what's that going to bring to, what vibe does that contribute?
It just gives us huge confidence ahead of the footy, and we practiced a lot with him going in the second ruck in pre-season as well, and it was great. We had Elliot Hibelberg kind of have that role, but even when he went down, it was a bit hard. We had a lot of our key forwards that similar height, but Riley's just got that little bit of different kind of X factor, I guess, and to have him kind of come back in the next few weeks is just a great target down the line, because there's times in games where you need that kind of outlet or that big contested mark down the line, and that's what he'll continue to bring.
Now, your teammate's responsible for this hairstyle that he's got. He's got the beard, the huge beard, and then this funky hairstyle. And it's all happened in your household.
It has. So he's got some nice blonde tips going on at the back. So roommate Jake Saligo, give him a shout out for that. He's done that, and Max McElhaney's as well. So he's done a few of the boys, but yeah, he's got this long beard going on. He reckons he's going to keep it for a little bit, but he thinks he'll shave it off soon.
And Josh, a bit of a milestone this week for you, game 50. Congratulations. It's a nice one to tick off. It's been a journey along the way, some great highs, and there's been some tough times as well, but it's a really good thing to be able to achieve so early in your career.
Yeah, it's a great thing, especially in your third season, to play 50 games. I'm very grateful to be playing a lot of football in my first 3 years. So yeah, credit to the Adelaide Crows. Not many guys get to do that. Sometimes it takes them a good kind of 5 or 6 years down the track. So kind of myself and Jake Saligo have been lucky enough to play a lot of games since getting drafted, and to have now my other roommate Luke Nankervis play consistently, and Zack Taylor as well debut on the weekend. To have all of us four in our draft year playing now is so good for the club.
The family coming up to watch?
Yeah, they are.
Nice.
Yeah, they love to get away and especially get some hot weather down in Brisbane. So mum and dad and a few uncles and aunties I think are coming up.
It was great to watch the performance on the weekend. It was almost like the Crows of last year when you were playing your exciting, vibrant best and you look dynamic and sharp. It's probably hard to pin it down, but what do you think the difference was between that week and some of the other weeks where it hasn't been as good? Was it a mindset, or is it just sometimes you're just on as opposed to other games where it's not happening for you?
Yeah, I think it was great having that little bye week for a lot of us. Myself personally, I got back to Shepparton. It was just a great reset period away from Adelaide and seeing a lot of friends and family. So coming back in with a very clear mindset was a great thing, both for me personally and the team. And we had another great couple of training sessions. I think early in the year we had some banged up bodies, but for now we've got a lot of fresh people coming back from injury. So to have really clear training consistency, I think has helped us now the last couple of weeks. And we just got honest and sat down and had some, as I said, some hard conversations. And I think that belief just came back a little bit for us, and that confidence, and we just went out with playing pure freedom, and I think that reflected on Saturday night.
You looked really happy. It felt like, and it's interesting you said that you all got together and had told some home truths. Did it almost feel like you had to get that, air some dirty laundry, and then get it out there, park it, and just get back to playing happy footy, be young, happy men?
Yeah, I second that. It was probably the most enjoyable game for the year. It was just so much fun, and we knew in past when teams would get a bit of a run on, that's when we'd get a bit, anxious and we would kind of lose our ways a bit, but we knew that was going to happen, and we just stayed consistent and composed in the matter, and I think we just executed what we wanted to do for all 4 quarters, and it ended up being a great result, and in the end it gives us huge confidence going into Brisbane this week.
Good on you, mate.
Massive test, but Josh, it was great to see you playing some really strong football and the team as well. Good luck on Sunday and hopefully back-to-back wins for the club.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you very much, guys.
Good stuff. Josh Rachele in the studio. We love having him on here on 5AA. We'll head across to the newsroom. Plenty more coming up on 5AA Breakfast, including Feedback Friday. Prizes to give away. Give us a call. 8223 0000.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Cloud clearing in 17 with the 8:30 news. I'm Kendall Brettig.
Injured or living with chronic pain? Book an appointment at Physio Extra today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
Labor's set to win the UK general election with a significant majority, according to exit polls. If the forecast is accurate, it means Sir Keir Starmer will become the UK Prime Minister with 410 Labor MPs. He only needs 326 for a majority. Well, the French Interior Ministry will deploy 30,000 police on the streets this weekend, amid fears the results of parliamentary elections there could lead to violence. The far-right party National rallies in front ahead of the second round of voting. An elderly man has died after a crash at Glossop in the Riverland yesterday. Senior Constable Peter Williams says 2 cars collided at the intersection of Scott and Jury Roads.
The driver of the Falcon, an 84-year-old man from Cobb Dogler, died at the scene, and the passenger in the Ford, an 82-year-old woman, was taken to hospital with minor injuries. The occupants of the other vehicle, the Subaru, a 21-year-old man, 24-year-old man, 25-year-old man and a 27-year-old man, all from Loxton North, were uninjured, and the man's death is the 46th life lost on SA roads this year.
The family of an Australian woman injured in a suspected hit run in Bali is hoping to bring her home. Rebecca Ode has undergone 14 hours of surgery after sustaining critical head injuries. Her sister Jordan says they're trying to raise thousands of dollars to pay for her medical evacuation.
The wheels are in motion. We're in conversations with an Australian company to initiate the Medivac. The logistics, we're still trying to work that out. She has to be fit to fly to be in a position to do that. So we're just taking it one step at a time at this point and relying heavily on the advice of the Australian team.
Hurricane Beryl has lashed the Cayman Islands after leaving a trail of destruction across the southeast Caribbean. The hurricane has also passed over Jamaica. The BBC's Nick Davis is in the capital, Kingston.
Throughout the city there is extensive damage. Trees have been felled by gusts of wind that howled for hours, and huge billboards have toppled over. The streets are covered in silt and small boulders which have come down from the mountains that surround this city. But it's the rural and more exposed parts of the country which took the full brunt of Hurricane Beryl, with devastating winds ripping off roofs, destroying homes and damaging critical infrastructure.
A study suggests weight loss drugs could be causing people to go blind. Harvard researchers have found those taking Wegovy are at greater risk of developing a rare and irreversible eye condition which can cause sudden blindness in one eye. Patients prescribed Ozempic for diabetes are 4 times more likely to be diagnosed. And there are tributes for one of SA's leading lights in the automotive industry. David Bruce has more.
Tom Phillips, who was the head of Mitsubishi Manufacturing during its most challenging times from 2000 to 2005, has died at the age of 88. He stepped into the role when car sales were plummeting and oversaw the development and manufacture of the Mitsubishi 380 in 2005. But the downward trend for our local car industry continued, unfortunately, and the Mitsubishi plant at Tonsley Park eventually closed with a loss of 930 jobs in 2008. A memorial service for Mr Phillips will be held in Adelaide Oval's Ian McLaughlin Room on Wednesday afternoon.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Experience the 2024 new-gen Mitsubishi Triton with 10 years warranty and servicing. Test drive at Agostino Mitsubishi.
Here's Jono Edwards.
Thank you, Kendall. Port Adelaide has named its teams for Saturday's game against the Western Bulldogs, making 2 changes. Jace Burgoyne and Francis Evans have been selected. Willie Rioli has been named to make his return through the SANFL. Will Lorenz and Josh Sin both coming out of the side, with Sin managing a minor quad complaint. Port coach Ken Hinkley says the Bulldogs are a strong team and the game at home will be a real test.
It's really challenging. It's a challenge for us every week, and again, as I said, against the Bulldogs, they've got great history and they play a brand of football around the contest. It's really hard to compete with at times, but we know we're capable.
The Crows will take on Brisbane at the Gabba on Sunday. Star forward Josh Rachele reflected on playing his 50th game this weekend on 5AA Breakfast.
Yeah, it's a great thing, especially in your third season, to play 50 games. I'm very grateful to be playing a lot of football in my first 3 years. So yeah, credit to the Adelaide Crows. Not many guys get to do that. Sometimes it takes them a good kind of 5 or 6 years down the track. So.
To tennis, and Alex de Minaur will be bringing his A game after cruising through Wimbledon's third round in straight sets. He'll face Lucas Pouille in the third round.
He's a veteran player who his high level is very high, and he can make it very hard on any player out there on his day. So I've played him in some practice and some exos, but yeah, it's always brutal and super tough, so got to be bringing my A game.
And finally, the Boomers smashed China 91-58 in their final game on home soil before the Olympics kick off. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now to the traffic.
At Kensington Gardens, Burst Watermain, McGill Road near Glenburn Road, Spooks at 40 heading outbound. At Plimpton, Marion Road and Anzac Highway has works, pretty slow there. And at Glandore, bit sluggish too, works South Road near the Crossroad overpass. Getting busy Brighton Road, Glenorg East with the camera Ways Road at Manningham. Head to OTR for the rich, creamy goodness of the new butter chicken pie and all premium pies, all for just $4 each. OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Next time you hit the brakes, think about the last time you had them checked. Call 1300 Automasters now.
Cloud clearing and 17 today, sunny tomorrow, also 17, partly cloudy on Sunday, 16, and a shower or two for Monday, 16. At the moment, 11. More news as it happens on 5AA.
23 minutes to 9 o'clock. Give us a call now, 8223 0000. We've got a $100 Sam Tass voucher to give away. It is Feedback Friday. Jade has got the questions ready. She's been crafting them with Lucy very, very strongly for the last 20 minutes or so. Give us a call. Lots of fun. 8223 0000. Give us a call right now. We need 3 callers. $100 voucher, Sam Tass voucher to give away. Get on the phone.
Welcome to Life's Key Moments, brought to you by First National Real Estate.
A key to my home where my furry friends are always welcome.
The key to endless adventures in my retirement.
The key to growing our own veggies and plenty of space for the kids to play.
The key to living the dream away from the big smoke.
The kids and girls night? Every night.
Your key to happiness awaits. Visit firstnational.com.au or call 1800 032 332. First National Real Estate. We put you first.
Drums, please. Unprecedented, unparalleled, unrivaled. For the very first time, Edwardstown Mazda is offering discounts greater than 10% on all Mazda demonstrator models. Every demo, every model with a minimum discount of 10%. Plus a minimum trade-in of $2,000 on your old vehicle. This offer is exclusive to Edwardstown Mazda.
It's gotta be.
Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA.
Now, Jade,
Yes.
this school holidays, bring your family and friends to Alcandarroch House for a calm, welcoming and inclusive experience at their quiet lunch, perfect for all ages and abilities.
Located in the Robert Charles Room, you will enjoy a choice of sensory-friendly menu or the normal bistro menu, lowered sound and light, plus sensory toys and table service.
So make a day of it and stick around for lunch for a sensory session of Despicable Me 4. I can't wait to see that with the boys. With Gru and his minions next door at Wallace, Mount Barker. I know Lucy's going to be there as well.
I saw it this week. It's brilliant.
No
So
way.
head along Tuesday, July the 9th from noon at Arcadoric House, Mount Barker, with the movie at 2:30. You can also book for quiet dinners on the second Tuesday of every month.
So visit the event page on the website for more information or book now at arcandoric.com.au.
Respiratory syncytial virus, known as RSV, is a contagious virus and the cause of respiratory disease among the elderly. Vaccines to fight the disease have been approved overseas, but Adelaide's Fusion Clinical Research is holding a trial to find a remedy for Australia. If you're over 60 and want to take part, contact Fusion on 7077 6996 or go to fusiontrials.com.au. You will be reimbursed for your time.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Tom Wren and Jade Robran.
Happy Friday to you. It is 20 minutes to 9 o'clock. It's time for our regular Feedback Friday.
Feedback. Friday today, so have your say feedback.
Yes, and we've got some callers ready to go. Jade as well. The questions are all set, and we have got a $100 Samtas voucher to give away this morning.
We do. I love listening to this with Will and Dave. Our listeners are very funny people. We need one more caller, 8223 0000. Ring in and be a part of it. We've got Michael in Normanville. Good morning, Michael.
G'day, how are you?
I'm excellent. Well, let's fire off the first question. Will last Friday's presidential debate mean the end for Joe Biden?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. It seems like he doesn't know where he is most of the time at the moment. So, yeah, I think he's a goner.
And then to blame jet lag as well. I mean, come on, mate. This is one of the most important debates of your life. Maybe not schedule a flight beforehand.
It's a bit soft, isn't it?
Could have thought of a better excuse, I reckon. Even food poisoning would have been better than jet lag.
He's scraping the barrel. He could have said one of his footy teams aren't going too well.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, number two. Gather round dates were announced this week with the third instalment to be held from April 10 to 13. Will you go to Gather Round next year?
Yeah, we go every year. So, yeah, why not? It's a great festival atmosphere. And, it's a really good weekend. So, we'll be there for sure.
There with bells on. Now, there have been calls for a sugar tax on soft drinks in Australia this week. What's your favourite soft drink?
I don't drink a lot of soft drink. Probably just Coke.
Yep.
But normally it's got some bourbon in it. So,
hey, you got to do that in winter.
Yeah, exactly.
You do.
Warm up.
Yep.
Puts hairs on the chest. Adelaide real estate prices increased an incredible 14% in the last 12 months. What did you pay for your first home?
Oh, God. Our first home, we paid $151,000. That was in 97. We'd done them up and we sold it for 1.4.
Oh my goodness! Wow. When was that,
Yeah,
Michael?
we got that was around Clapham, near Keeneland.
Yeah. That's a great. Gee whiz! Well done.
It was the old thing, that one of the worst house in a good street.
Yeah.
We just done up the whole thing from head to toe, but it still amazed me when we sold it. I had no idea when we actually had Bronte Manuel in there, and another bloke come round. They sold it for us, and we could not believe the figures he was talking about getting for the house. It blew me away.
Oh,
really.
good on you, Michael. Now, Adelaide had its coldest July morning in more than 100 years on Wednesday, with temperatures hitting below zero in a lot of the parts of the state. Did you get up and face the cold on Wednesday, or did you stay under the quilt?
I'm a tradie, so I still commute to town. So I was definitely up, and it was cold. It was freezing,
I'm going to throw another one here. These are Lucy's questions. She's written down doona. Are you a doona or are you a quilt? I say quilt.
I say quilt.
I say doona.
You say doona.
Yeah.
Interesting. Michael, thank you very much. Excellent feedback today. Let's move on to Karen in Seaford. Hi, Karen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Now, the UK has just voted in a new Prime Minister after 14 years of Tory rule. Do you think England should ditch Brexit and rejoin the European Union?
I have no idea what any of that means.
Well, it doesn't really apply to us directly, does it, Karen? So
No, I don't really follow Australian politics, let alone UK politics, sorry.
You can say anything. Here you go, yep, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. Bring back Margaret Thatcher.
Now, with the recent spate of drive-off petrol theft, do you agree it may be time for prepaying for petrol, or is this punishment for the innocent?
I guess because they're getting rid of cash as well, like anything prepaid, that means the end of cash as well, so...
Yes.
Yeah, I think just a bit like the first question, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just keep it how it is.
I don't like prepaying for things because I just find it difficult.
It's annoying because you don't know how much you're going to do sometimes either. Like you're like, I don't know if it's going to fill up. It might be $95 or it might be $85, and so you're not sure.
I'm very live in the moment sort of person. So I like to do things on in the moment. So.
Leave it as it is.
Lady of whim.
I'd probably forget I'd prepaid it and pay for it again or something.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
The AFL CEO, Andrew Dillon, he said this week that umpiring in the AFL has never been better. Do you agree with that, Karen?
I'm pretty hopeless at this quiz because I don't even watch the AFL, so I have no idea.
I'll answer for you. I think he's deluded.
I think he's stretching the truth here.
Yeah.
Bulk billing GPs are fast becoming a thing of the past. Does your doctor bulk bill?
She does, but I did have an appointment the other day just to get some test results, and they bulk billed me. I didn't have to pay a cent, so I guess it depends on what the appointment's for, maybe. Not sure. I was quite surprised I wasn't charged. But
I don't think you should be. I don't think you should be charged if you're going back again for test results. I also think they should just ring you to save time. You don't have to go back again and again.
Yeah, I guess it depends what the news is. The results. Yeah.
Now, new drivers of Lamborghinis, they will now need to do an online course and test to show they are capable of driving the car in South Australia. What has been your favourite car that you've owned?
Oh, definitely my first car was a 1970s Ford Capri. Oh. I wish I still had it. It'd be worth a mint.
Yeah, a few good memories.
Yeah, I can't beat the old cars. Made of metal and built tough.
Did she have a name?
Nothing electric. Didn't have a name for it. No, I've never named any of my cars. It's boring like that.
I had a Nissan Skyline. Yeah. I just called it the old girl. I loved it.
Yeah.
A lot of people do name their cars, though. I never have. Thank you, Karen, so very much. You have a great afternoon.
You're very welcome. Yeah, thank you. You too. Keep warm.
Yes. Let's go to Dave in Alberton. Hello, Dave.
Good morning, guys. Friday, best day of the week.
Oh,
Isn't it just?
Spot on, Dave.
Now, with the UK election last night and the US in November, both of these elections have non-compulsory voting. Are we right or wrong in Australia in having to vote by law?
No, I agree. We should go and vote. I read actually the other day, I think over half of the world's population is going to vote this year because India go to a vote as well. So this calendar year, over half of the 8 billion people on Earth go to vote. But yeah, I agree. I think compulsory voting is the way to go.
That's a fun fact. Hey, school holidays start in SA this weekend. As a holiday activity, which one would you choose? Going to the movies or visiting the zoo?
Oh, I'd go to the zoo, I think. Not a big movie watcher.
Okay, that's interesting.
What about you, Jade?
Oh, yeah, the zoo, I think, because you can spend the whole day there, you can pack a picnic.
Good to
Do
be
love
outside.
the movies, though.
Same, I'm a big movie buff. So.
Laughed my head off.
Having said that, I did watch the new Beverly Hills Cop last night, and it's actually pretty good.
Oh, is it?
How many stars
Yeah,
out of 5?
pretty good. 4. I'd give it 4.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Dave, have you seen Goodfellas? Because Lucy gave it 2.5 stars this morning. Have you seen the 1990 classic crime drama?
I have, yes, I have, and that's probably a bit low, Luce. I think that might be a little bit low on the rating there.
Okay, you give it 3.5?
3.5, yep.
Yep, like it. Good work, Dave.
All right, what do you think Port fans will do tomorrow when Ken Hinkley is shown on the screen at the crowd, on the ground?
He's a big Port fan, Dave.
Is he?
Mhm.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I-
Are you
I-
booing or are you cheering?
I'm not a booer, but I understand why people are a little frustrated, and if that's how they want to vent their frustration, then they've got the prerogative to do so. I fear for what may happen if the scoreboard's not in our favour.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll get too many cheers, but if the scoreboard's in the wrong side of the ledger, I don't think it'll be pretty either.
Well, he certainly responded to the boos, didn't he? So let's hope that this winning... let's hope we get a winning streak.
Oh, exactly right. Tough game. I don't know. I cannot pick this one. You said to me you
I
think
reckon
Port will win?
I do. I think it's going to be another scrappy one, but
Yeah.
I think they're going to get in.
Hope so.
Not by a big margin, though.
No.
Okay, Booktopia has crashed this week, closing its business. Do you still buy a physical book or prefer reading from a screen? Or have you stopped reading books altogether, Dave?
Oh, there's another one. You've got me on movie watching and book reading. I'm not a big reader, but I think if I was, I think I'd rather a physical copy than reading on an e-reader. I think the tactile part of having a book is more enjoyable than reading on an e-reader.
Couldn't agree more. Just the smell of a book as well, and touching it and turning the pages.
Yeah,
feels so much
increasing
better.
them, as you bookmark.
Yeah.
I downloaded one on a flight just recently, and I couldn't do it. It made me feel dizzy and sick. I didn't like the feeling
On
of
the
reading it
screen.
off a screen.
Yep.
All right, lucky last question. Illuminate kicked off last night. Does an outdoor event in winter interest you, or are you one that prefers to stay under the doona/quilt?
No, rug up, get out there, go and enjoy it. Might as well. Life's too short.
Spot on, Dave, yeah.
Spot
and it's a great
on.
festival to Illuminate. 4th year we've done it. I think it's great. You've got a tough decision to make, unfortunately, Jade. We had 3 great callers.
We did.
We'll give you a bit of time maybe to think about it.
Look, I'm going to go Dave because he came to the party with some fun facts for a Friday.
Okay.
So, Dave, congratulations. I hope you boys get up tomorrow.
Thank you.
Great work, Dave. Dave there from Alberton. He is a big Port Adelaide fan, and that's a huge game. As we know, we've got to get to the traffic. It is 8:51 here on 5AA Breakfast. All thanks to the Lubra House, the leaders in transforming your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Tom. She's most looking pretty good for the run into work today, which is excellent. Do have a burst watermaid to look out for at Kensington Gardens, McGill Road near Glenburn Road. She's down at 40, but it's heading outbound, so there's no great delays there. Little busy at the moment. Park Terrace at Bowden, starting to build. South Road at Theberton, both directions near Thebe Theatre. And got cameras Barnett Road, Evanston, and North East Road at St Agnes. Don't miss the head-turning new Ford Ranger Black Edition, starting from just $57,990 drive away. Inquire at your local Ford dealer while stocks last. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Working out what you can claim at tax time can be super confusing. Instead of missing out on money that's yours, just go with the experts at H&R Block and get more for sure. That's more help, more expertise, and more options. Did you know things like briefcases and handbags are claimable if you use them for work? This tax time, don't do it all yourself. Switch to H&R Block and get more with a maximum refund guarantee. H&R Block, more for sure. Book an appointment today at hrblock.com.au.
Beechwood Homes, Adelaide's leading bespoke home builder, celebrates 35 years. Over that time, they've helped many hundreds of people realise their dream of building a home exactly how they envisioned it. That's the wonderful thing about building with Beechwood. There are no set plans, no set rules. It all starts with a pen, paper, and your ideas. Just like it did 35 years ago. If you can dream it, Beechwood Homes can build it. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Life. It's full of changes, and your need for space changes with it. So it's good to know there's a flexible and secure storage solution available at FIVEAA Self-Storage. Now with 6 big locations, including Seaford and Beverley just off Port Road. Get 1 month free storage and discover how a little extra space can change your life. T's and C's apply. Get a quote today at roomia.com.au and make your life roomier.
Drummond Golf is turning 50 and we're giving you the chance to win a new VW Golf 110 TSI Life. Get into Drummond Golf and for every $100 spent on selected big brand golf gear, you get an entry into the draw. There's over $80,000 in prizes to be won, including drivers and hundreds of Drummond Golf gift vouchers. And Drummond Club members get 2 entries for every $100 spend. Don't miss the Drummond Golf 50th anniversary and your chance to win a new VW Golf. Conditions apply. See in store or online for details.
The critical part of any healthcare is the care. It's about being by your side when you and your loved ones need us most. Through late night fevers, through the rough and tumble of weekend sports, through weird rashes, mystery aches, and knowing in your heart that something's not quite right. From surgery to rehabilitation, through emergencies, mental illness, chronic diseases, and for better health. Your doctor cares. Let's take care of them too. Authorised by Dr. David Pope, Sasmoa, Adelaide.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Tom Wren and Jade Robran.
Just a few minutes to go here on 5AA Breakfast on this Friday, the 5th of July. Thanks so much for your text messages that have been coming through and all your input on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream. We have loved that. Jay, we've got a prize to give away in a moment, which we will do. First, though, let's check out what's happening with Fuel Watch. Members save on RAA Solar, RAA Innovation Proprietary Limited, SA Building Licence number 319335. The Mobile X convenience at Clemzig on North East Road is $1.65.5 for unleaded. The Liberty at Camden Park on Morfett Road is $1.67.5, and the X convenience at Torrensville Henley Beach Road is also $1.67.5. Diesel at United Seaton on Tapley's Hill Road is $1.79.5. Members save on RAA Solar, RAA Innovation Proprietary Limited, SA Building Licence number 319335.
Look, Tom, I don't like people walking away not winners. That was hard to choose just one. I know Dave walked away as the winner, but Karen and Michael, I'm also going to send you tickets to the Adelaide Beer and Barbecue Fest. It returns to the Adelaide Showground across the weekend of July 12 to 14. You can jump online and buy your own tickets, beerandbarbecuefest.com.au. But Karen and Michael, you're both going to get tickets. We're going to send you along. We were talking about names of cars. This is a funny one. Tim's message, and he goes, my first car was a green 200B station wagon, only just got going. It was given to me by the local priest, so me and my mates called it the Pope.
Like that.
The Pope-mobile.
And good work handing away those prizes as well. Everyone's a winner for Feedback Friday, which is a lovely result. Now, Jade,
yes.
Speaking of winners, we usually have Fitzy, but he's not with us today. He will be back on with the boys in the coming weeks on 5AA Brekkie. But footy tips. We need your winners for this week, please. 9.
Alrighty, let's do it. I'm going to channel my best Fitzy. I was going to call him Frizy. Remember in Big Brother they called him Frizy? Fitzy?
Was he on what Big Brother? Was he on the second one or the third one?
Can't remember. It was so long ago. But the footy tips are thanks to the new McSmart meal from Macca's. 2 burgers, small fries and small soft drinks, $6.95. T's and C's apply. Tonight we see the Pies take on Essendon at the MCG. I'm locking in Collingwood for this one.
Yep.
Now, Suns are going to travel down south to Marvel Stadium to take on North Melbourne. I'm going for an upset here. Everyone's tipping the Suns. I'm going to go North Melbourne.
Well, I don't mind that. I mean, they've got a horrible record away from home. Gold Coast can't be beaten at home, but away, they just do not travel.
Well, they haven't won.
And North have been much better in the last month. It's not a bad selection. Like it.
Port Adelaide are taking on Western Bulldogs at Adelaide Oval tomorrow. I am going to tip Port Adelaide. I think they're just going to scrap over. I think it is going to be a scrappy one, though.
Yeah, that'll be a good game. So we'll be calling that, of course, here on 5AA. Timmy Ginever, Warren Treadray and myself can't wait.
Hawks have found some form of late. They're taking on Geelong, down in Geelong. Look, if it was anywhere else, I'd probably back in the Hawks. But at the Cattery, I'm locking in the home side.
It's worth a few goals, isn't it? A couple of good games on Saturday night as well, Jade.
GWS take on Carlton, who are in brilliant form right now. I feel like they're actually going to be the last ones standing, potentially, them or Sydney, last Saturday of September. I'm going Carlton.
Yeah, they look great at the moment. It's the best they've played in 20-odd years. They look so strong.
Really good.
Yeah.
Then we have Fremantle taking on Richmond. I'm locking in the Dockers.
How haggard was that win last week against the Swans? Hard to argue
and they're
with
playing
that
at
one.
home.
And at home, it's always a tougher proposition. Richmond are a fair way off it, unfortunately.
They are. Melbourne are going to take on West Coast Eagles at the MCG. Locking in the Ds.
Yep, definitely. Have to go with them.
15th versus 1st. St Kilda take on St Kilda. This one's at Marvel Stadium. Sydney dropped one last week against Collingwood. Are they going to bounce back? They're in such good form.
Yeah.
Love their midfield. They're just clicking.
They're going to be hard to beat, I think, come the final day, and they're just building up for the finals, I reckon. And what about Brisbane and the Crows, the late game on Sunday?
Oh, look, my heart wants to say the Crows, but my head's telling me Brisbane.
No, it has to be Brisbane, I think, at home. Let's hope there's an upset, though. Jade, amazing work from you. Thank you so much for everything you've done this week.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
And you'll be back out on the road.
Yeah, as of Monday.
Which will be great. So have a wonderful weekend and look forward to that on Monday.
You too, Tommy. Thank you very
Jade.
much.
No, you've absolutely smashed it, so thank you. And thank you so much for tuning in. Stick around, news is next, and then Graham Gooding's on with mornings. Have a fabulous weekend. Go the Crows, go the Power, go the Thunderbirds, anyone else that I've forgotten. And we'll be back on 5AA Breakfast. It'll be Lucy and Will, 6 o'clock on Monday morning. Make sure you tune in then. See you, folks.
Head south as the all-new G